So we would see crazy stuff. Like there were websites like, oh, have you seen this? Like we're watching Two Girls, One Cup at like 8, 9. Bro, like imagine.
What? Hold on. Slow it down.
The earth is flat.
See are not the droids you are looking for.
Girl, how are you?
Wait, hurry up and buy.
Dead ass.
You're never gonna be happy. You're never gonna be happy.
Damn, dude.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Are you brushed up on your alien species? Lord, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, partner?
Grind Talks? That's a stupid name.
Shimmer.
Yeah.
AKA, well, maybe it's backwards. Shamir, AKA Shimmer.
Yeah.
Right? YouTuber, streamer extraordinaire. I'll throw comedian in there.
Let's go.
Comedian.
I'll take that.
And musician. And then fill in the blanks.
Honestly, yeah, you got most of the big important ones that I think most people would describe me as. Some might say director, I don't know, editor, little things right there. Good friend, hopefully,
Yeah, give me some of that. Like, what is, what is like your
son,
family gonna label
father?
you as?
No, I'm kidding. I'm not
Oh,
a father.
shit.
No. You never know. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he's out there somewhere, right? You just haven't met him yet.
And some other, usually like I just want to be myself. I think that's the main thing. And anything that I want to do is just under the umbrella of me. And whatever I feel like doing, I kind of do it. But those are the big big categories that most people would describe me as.
I mean, and the easy way to say it too is just you being a creative person in general, talking about being yourself, that expression, right? I think everyone has a like what makes you so creative or wanting to be that expressive in that way? I
think because generally I'm a pretty quiet person. And so I don't express my feelings through like talking all the time. And usually I'm like alone a lot of the times. So when you're alone, I feel like you just make a lot of stuff and you like explore with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And growing up, I've always made videos, like made songs. And hey, we got the tea. Let's go on the show. Best show ever. We got tea on
bro. Some green tea.
But yeah,
treat our guests good over here, man.
But yeah, I just express myself through arts and stuff like that. And usually I don't talk about myself a lot of the times.
But I guess what I'm getting at is like, was it at a young age that you kind of found like were you always this kind of loner who would go and create on his own as a little kid? Like where did that, because I feel like I find some similarities to that. That's why I'm curious.
Yeah. I wasn't always a loner. Like it's just when, you can't always be outside, right, with other kids. Like, but when I had the opportunity, I would be with, hang out and we'd ride bikes and all that stuff. But, there's always that time where you come home. It's like, what do? You watch TV, you listen to music, right? And all that stuff that I'd watch, like, inspired me. Video games, all that stuff.
How old are you?
I am 26.
Okay, 26.
By the way, how old are you?
I'm 35. I be forgetting my age. Yeah,
you're 35. Dang.
Yeah, bro, I'm up there.
How does it feel?
I'm like a grandpa at this stage.
Do you feel like a grandpa?
I'm actually in the best state, like health of my life. I feel like mentally, even when I'm like 70 years old, I'm gonna feel like I'm 16.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask you. Like, I know you're asking me questions, but this is your podcast.
This is how good he is, man. He comes on my show and he asks me questions.
Like, it's inspiring to see someone older that's also creative. What would you give advice to me? Like, if there's any advice?
I would say is just to never stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, that's the only time you fail, really.
Yeah.
Like, you're finally done and failed when you quit.
Yeah.
And I feel like whether it's a small business or whether it's something creative, it's going to take some grit. It's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. But over time, you might not see no money, no real like growth or anything real for maybe a couple years. Mm-hmm. And then finally you might get a break and then you take that momentum. So I would say that's one advice. And then outside of that, just like keep faith, like in like the universe, the God, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, like some type of meaning and path and that like everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And I feel like those two things have somehow grounded me.
No, 100%. I believe in that. And like, I agree with that. Were there like points in your life where you were like, dude, I don't know if I can handle this, like being creative and trying to make that your career?
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, I didn't really start making money until recently, probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I've been doing it a long time. But I mean, when I say making money, I'm like, okay, it can take care of my bills.
Yeah, yeah.
I have extra money, and I see potential more growth, right? And
Yeah.
so that was in the recent couple years. So before that, I mean, yeah, like just going into depression, having to work jobs where you're not creative, having to, you know, live honorably, live straight.
Yeah.
In the realm of being a civilian and not getting in trouble and doing everything by the book and living as though I feel like my light is dimmed. I've been there. You know what I mean? Like
That's amazing to hear because, like, you know, you said 35, right?
Yeah.
35. Dude, that's crazy. Because I always look at older.
well, Samuel L. Jackson didn't pop till he was 45, 50.
Exactly. The creator of KFC, was his name Colonel Sanders or something? He made KFC at like 80, I think.
Okay, that's crazy.
It's Colonel Sanders, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it
You
right.
know what it is, man? Like on that topic, like at my age, and this is something really recently I'm diving into and kind of feeling like what is my parameter of success, right? And kind of like just being fulfilled and doing, like, it's not the cars, it's not wealth, it's not these things that motivate me, not like a house. It's really just having my family comfortable and then feeling fulfilled. So how I feel fulfilled is doing stuff like this, doing documentaries, doing graphic design, and all of that is like my raging against the darkness. Because if I don't do all these things, that's where I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I can resonate with that because essentially, like, I like doing all these things. I've always been doing all these things, right? And I just would like two things covered, like you said, cover my family and just being able to live and do these things.
That's it.
It's that simple.
The fact that you at your age
Yeah.
can understand that is, I mean, everybody has their different points where they hit these realizations, right?
Yeah.
And for you to do that, that age is it's really good. You're ahead of the curve, man.
Man, I appreciate that.
Because it's, I mean, all of us got, like you said before you came, hey, Figaro, get off that.
I didn't
cat.
say that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's the studio cat
That's funny.
fucking with the cord. We love him. He's fine. No, he's gone.
I was confused for a second. I was like, you came in and said, Figaro, get off that.
No, it's the studio cat, but he's fine. We love him.
Tea's good, by the way.
Figaro.
Tea's
Green
great.
tea. Amazingly made by...
He said it's white tea. I don't know what white tea is, but it tastes good. The box said green tea.
Is that what they serve? It's white tea, huh? Okay.
Is it like made by a white person? Like
I
what?
don't know. Was it served at January 6th? Hey, yo, Brandon.
Hey, yo.
Hey, listen, man. We got a new sponsor. And,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and this next sponsor has a name that proposes the age-old question of, what you burning?
What you burning?
Look, What You Burnin' started off as a smoke shop in Northern Virginia at the tail end of 2020. And just last year, they launched a line of premium hemp rolling papers. And listen, guys, this brand is special. Gopi Singh, the man who established What You Burnin', he passed away, and his family and friends have taken on the mission to continue on with his dream. The passion behind this project runs deep, and the papers are the truth. European-made, 100% organic premium hemp rolling papers. And look, I can vouch for these. Not only have I tried them, but I decided to give them to all my friends. Try them out. Let me know what you think. They loved them. A slow, smooth burn, organic, and just downright delightful. And look, they got merch, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, jerseys, jackets, and keep an eye out for those bucket hats and socks dropping very soon. They even got smoke odor eliminating candles, which are even broken down for the ladies and the gents. The male version is called the good old hot box, and the female version is appropriately titled Yummy. You can now get What You Burnin' products at smoke shops near you in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, which is where this podcast is recorded. But not only that, they're in Nevada, Texas, the Midwest, in Ohio, Kentucky, even in Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, plus more. Speaking of Pennsylvania, the What You Burnin' team is taking over the Philly King Laundromat in West Philadelphia this Memorial Day weekend for a What You Burnin' block party. I'm going to ride up for this one. Music, food, great vibes, and of course the sweet, sultry red glows of What You Burnin' hemp papers. Look, follow him on Instagram at What You Burning. That's at WHATCHABURNIN. They even got a website where you can check out the merch and all that good stuff at www.whatchaburnin.com. And one more time, that's WHATCHABURNIN.com. We were talking about the age that you're realizing that at. It's pretty crucial, and it's important, I feel like, for anyone at any age. And I feel like it's really just kind of being introspective and looking at what you really want to be and what you want to do with your life, right? And that's why people who might have false expectations or certain pressures or certain ideas of what they think is success, those are the ones that have like mental breakdowns at 50 years old. You know what I mean? So you might have a CEO that's like, he's been killing it all his life. He's Fortune 500 company, but his whole life has been maybe valued in his work, and he didn't really feel fulfilled. He wasn't really there. And now when he's 50 years old, out of nowhere, he's having panic attacks. So I feel like that's where that stuff builds up. Like you finally get to a point just in general with stress, because like I feel like that's what everyone deals with. So this is our like alleviation.
100%. And you know what's crazy, right? I always thought I was crazy for like doing these things like social media content, all that stuff, right? And then you see it start becoming popular and necessary for these businesses to do these things. And I'm like now if you're a restaurant or a nail salon, you see them start making TikTok accounts and like Instagram pages to promote their businesses. And I'm like, wait, this is where we're going. And I'm like, you know, I was always making content, you know, on whether it be YouTube or Instagram, whatever. And I'm like, was I right all along? Like I was just doing this for me. I wasn't like trying to project, like, you know.
Let me ask you a question. What's your age? Because I can't do the math right now, but were you, when you were born, was the internet already out and about? Because if you're 10 years roughly.
Okay, so internet I think was kind of there when we were like 5, 6, but it was really slow and it wasn't like usable.
Like dial up?
Sort of, yeah. And then 7, 8, that's when like the internet games started coming on. So it was like fast enough where you can play like, you know, flash games and whatnot. 10, when I was 10, that was around 2005. So that's when I first discovered YouTube. I was trying to watch like anime on YouTube online. And I was like, hey, there's people like uploading videos. And I started uploading videos at age 10. I used a webcam, whatever.
Sorry to cut you off. Like at that age, were you guys on social media?
There was no concept of social media.
MySpace wasn't out yet?
Actually, yeah, I did have MySpace. I did get MySpace.
Because I had a MySpace.
I did get MySpace when I was 10, but I was early. Right. Like none of my classmates had MySpace. My friend, he made me get a MySpace because his older sister had a MySpace, and she was like 6 years older than us. So I was early in that too. And then 2 years later, I was 12. I made a Facebook, and that was really rare in middle school to get a Facebook. And then it started getting popular, and that's kind of when Facebook, Twitter, all of those platforms started getting popular. And then high school, it was like kind of popping by then. But before the concept of social media, people just posted whatever. You remember those times, right? Like
where
people just posted whatever they thought. Or like, you know, it'd be a grilled cheese and
right.
Like, oh, I just had the best grilled cheese. And it's like, yo, that looks really bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Where everyone's like, I don't want to see your food.
Yeah.
Then,
but even during those times, right, I was just like making for self-expression. Like I would just make random videos, what I saw online. I would kind of like, you know, recreate, make dumb videos.
Do you have a passion for acting?
Yeah, I've always had it. I think it's because I just watched so many movies. Like I would watch Spider-Man. I'd be like, I want to be Spider-Man.
Well, I asked Scrappy this last week when he was on, like what role would he play? Like what role would you see yourself playing?
Okay. Growing up, I would always want to be like, you know, kind of the main character skinny kid that was like a nerd, but ends up getting like superpowers, right? But now I definitely want to be a villain. Like
villain.
I want to be a villain.
You used to want to be like Matt Sarah. Like that character, right?
Michael Cera.
What'd I say?
Matt Cera. Yeah.
Damn it. Michael Cera. You wanted to be him, but now you're going for like when you like what, Joker dark? Like
if Dev Patel was like a villain, has he ever been a villain in a movie? I don't know, but you know, that kind of like physique, but you know, just crazy. But yeah, kind of Joker,
like,
but
crazy, like psychotic. Like,
sort of.
Yeah.
More like the Dark Knight Joker. I think that would be cool.
More like the Dark Knight Joker.
Yeah,
Got it.
not
Right,
the
right,
recent
right.
Joker, but
Right.
even though that was a phenomenal performance.
That's
but,
too dark for you.
I think that's
You think it fuck you up? Mentally?
yeah,
Yeah.
that. But also, I just feel like it's less fun. You have to like really get in psychotic.
So what makes you want to be the bad guy now?
I don't know. I feel like when you get slightly older, you kind of see like the darkness and shit, and like life and all that stuff, and you just want to play around with it and show people how ridiculous
Yeah,
it
the
is.
contradiction and everything.
Yeah, and you just want to show people how ridiculous it is being like evil. But
What do you mean by that? The
lot of-
ridiculousness of being evil.
Yeah, like, I feel like in life, right, you get thrown so many obstacles, and you either look at it positively or negatively, right? For me, I feel like I'm pretty optimistic, so I view things as like always positive. Like, okay, I got hit real bad, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn from this. I'm gonna get stronger, stuff like that, right? When people are like evil and try to hurt other people, I'm like, I can't see why somebody would be like that, right? Unless they're going through something. But honestly, like for me, I think the ridiculousness in trying to hurt other people and playing with that character, I think would be fun to show. You can try to get what I'm trying to say?
What I hear is like you're so disassociated from like finding any type of association to what that person is feeling, right?
Yeah.
Or how they're thinking,
Yeah.
that somehow you find that interesting to want to play as a character.
Yeah.
How would you do that though? Like if you don't have those thoughts, like what I guess in my mind, like same with like stand-ups, right? Like an actor that can do some deep, dark acting, they gotta like have some type of feelings of that and trauma to pull from. Like, do you feel like you would channel that from somewhere? Like, you know what I mean? Like, would it be method act? Like, how would you, if you were going to be the Joker, like, how would you fall into that?
Yeah. So I think what really helps me is I have a lot of empathy. And with empathy, like I feel like I can feel what somebody else is kind of feeling. And I would just try to put myself in scenarios and think of scenarios like if it happened. And I guess that's method acting. So I guess I would do method acting and do research of people that would do that. But
You're funny too, bro. You just want to play. You could an evil, like a dark comedy villain. You would kill that.
I appreciate the compliment with comedy. For me, comedy is a little bit hard. And
It's very hard.
Like in a sense that sometimes jokes land. For me, the easiest time to do comedy is when you're joking around with friends.
Right. And I guess so for the listeners know, like you don't do stand up, right?
No.
Your comedy's based in sketch comedy. You could call it essentially.
I've done sketch comedy. I've done parodies. I'll do like vlog skits and kind of like cut them together. So,
but you also stream live. And
Yeah, stream live.
When you're doing that, you're entertaining everyone with being funny. So there's a level of comedic comfortability there.
yeah, 100%. I think it's more like I said, like it's in all those scenarios, you kind of feel like you're with friends,
Right.
and I think that's where I get mine. Like improv comedy, if I'm on a stage or something like that, which I would love to do, I just don't have the balls for it right now. I think that would be really fun. Like I love.
You want to practice some?
We can,
Can we get a scenario? We did this with Scrappy last
Oh,
week.
snap.
That's a
That's
fighter
crazy.
from the Thump Yard.
That's crazy.
And I'm not an actor, but I'm trying. Maybe I can. Let's see. Give me a scenario. Okay, we got to be somewhere. The crowd throw out at the
throw out
improvs. What do they
something.
do? They say, what do they say? Location. Give us a scenario.
Yeah.
Super villain.
We're trying to buy
We're trying to buy
bowling balls.
bowling balls. Let's custom.
Custom bowling balls.
Can we be trying to buy crack? All right, so we are villains trying to buy crack, super villains trying to buy crack in order to poison one of our superheroes that we're trying to get.
All right.
So I'm the dealer.
Okay.
Let's flip this around. You're coming to me to buy the crack. I'm the street dealer, and then we're gonna see how this goes. So
All right.
I set the scene. Snowy night. somewhere down in Baltimore. No, because I can't do a Baltimore accent. All right. Anyway, I'm not even gonna do the accent. I'm just gonna be chilling, and we'll see. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I'm on the corner of. I'm in the Bronx somewhere. Yeah, how you doing? I heard you's looking for something.
You got some crack? You got some crack?
This guy, you so out here with.
I want some crack.
Okay, what?
I'm telling you.
Listen, buddy.
If I don't get my crack right now, I'm trying to poison Doctor Oppenheimer.
Dr. Oppenheimer, I got this. He's the optometrist. I seen him last week. You want to kill that guy?
Look, he fucked up my eyes when I was 4 years old, and I want my revenge.
There you go. So you can't see? You're blind?
I'm
this
blind.
guy's blind as a bat.
I've done.
He can't even see me. He's
I've
dead
done
now.
LASIK 8 times.
Shit.
And it still sucks. But I still recommend it. It's better than.
And then right then, John Cena walks in, right? Because you can't see him, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
something. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was pretty good.
What do you guys think? Was it good? Pretty good?
All right, analysis.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna be very honest
Yeah,
with
go
you.
for it.
Kind of sounded like Batman.
Yeah.
We might have to give it another go. Can we give it another go? Can we give it another go? Can we give it another go?
You just want me to change the accent?
It sounded like Batman.
Yeah.
Hey, you got some crack. Right? Am I wrong, right?
Yeah, do a different scenario.
He's still the supervillain. And what's the scenario?
You're a GameStop.
I'm a GameStop.
Fuck. Oh, we could do a lot. We could do a lot.
GameStop. What do they sound like? What's their demographic? What's the profile of a GameStop employee?
Brandon.
Snobby.
Snobby gamer, maybe.
What's
Also just be a burnout.
can I be a burnout?
Yeah.
That's probably closer to what I could be. Okay. All right. Hold on. And he's coming in to buy a game?
No, I'm coming in to sell.
Got it. Right away. Okay, so he's coming in to sell. The door opens. Ding.
Excuse me.
Hey, what's up, bro?
This is my first time trying to sell this game. I was wondering, what's the process like? This is Fallout 3. It's brand new, mint condition. It's 10 years old. Never been touched before. So I was wondering, what would you pay for this?
Yeah, well, first, I have to look at the game. Can I see the game? Thank you. There's no CD in here, sir.
It's brand new. It's never been touched.
No, I opened it. There's no CD. There's no game.
I think you sold a game. I brought this in. Brand new. Never touched before. No hero has ever touched this. I swear, if you are lying to me,
I'm just
was-
fucking with you, man. Here
Okay.
it is. Here it is right here. I'm just fucking with you, man. That was better.
No.
I felt the intensity.
next time you do that again,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. We're still
I will
we're
laser your eyes.
still
I will fry your brain right now.
and keep going. What else are you gonna do? Give
I
me a
will
lot.
delete you from this existence of Earth and make sure, and then I'll find your family
Whoa.
and end them all.
You went full Liam Wilson, right? Or what is that guy's name? Liam Nielsen? I'll find you. That was good, man. That was good.
Appreciate that.
I'm not an actor, but I just find it fun.
That was really
I find
good.
like the accents. We're always like,
I think if you can vibe off somebody, it's easier.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier. You could do the dumbest shit, and then like I would do shit like that on stream and like in vlogs and stuff like that. And even though it's not funny, the fact that it's not funny is also funny, right? Like the way you edit it, it's like okay, that was actually dumb as hell, but it's funny,
It's all for just
Messing around,
it's
having
messing
a good time.
around and exploration of.
Yeah.
That's why it's fun to make up stories. It's fun to make up songs. Speaking of songs, there's something I wanted to ask you about music because
Yeah.
I was just curious to what got you into doing music or what were your influences? And I know that's like the generic question. So I guess more specifically what I'm asking you is what was the shit you was rocking when you was 12 years old on Facebook?
It was a lot of Linkin Park. And the reason I like Linkin Park
I try so hard.
and got so far.
Yeah.
No, the thing I liked about Linkin Park is they fused kind of like rock and alternative, and they had rap in it too. And those are like two of my favorite.
So like the smorgasbord of the genres. And that's interesting you say that because I kind of get that sense from you too.
yeah,
Because I mean, you say you're a rapper, but you're really like a blend as well, right? You're
Yeah.
rapper / singer.
Yeah. So like I listen to like a lot of genres and stuff like that. So that's what I first started like heavily like liking, like, Linkin Park and stuff like that. Obviously there's like tons of artists that I listen to now, and I listen to new artists like all the time. So new shit all the time is like always intriguing me, and like how they formulate their stories and whatnot.
That's interesting because I listen to no new music.
Really?
Yeah, like pretty much everything I listen to is like old.
Dang. Old
Like,
what?
My like playlist is like all over the place. I'll go from like the Isley Brothers to like Red Hot Chili Peppers to like DMX
Yeah.
to just all over the place.
Yeah. No, and funny that you mentioned that. Like I think Rock Band. You ever play the game Rock Band in like Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero, I think I have.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So like basically it's just you play these songs with like a plastic controller, and it just gives you a ton of songs, and you play those
Right,
songs
yeah,
like
I
all the
remember
time,
that.
and it's fun.
And
You
you're
get
just
like
shredding,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've learned so many bands through that. And how they formulate music and stuff like that. And I actually learned how to play actual drums because of playing Rock Band.
Oh, nice.
Because you get rhythm and all that stuff. And it's crazy. You're like, oh, how would a game ever like, teach you anything? And it's like, bro, it taught me rhythm. Like, and with rhythm, it taught me how to produce beats, how to keep a rhythm, how to like sing along to stuff, how to rap along with stuff. So, games like that, we just mess around, and whatever we saw, like we'd see like, Kanye West and Jay-Z and all that stuff. Like all the music's been popping, like especially in middle school, right? Everyone's like listening to kind of the same thing. So all that stuff was just really inspiring. And I was like, I feel like what I really wanted to do in middle school was we had like friends play different instruments. We all kind of sucked. We were like, yo, let's just start a band for the hype.
Jam sessions.
Janceptions, right? We would hang out every Friday. They'd bring their instruments, but we'd literally just like chill. Like we didn't.
We love jam sessions. The production team from the documentary, we went
Yeah.
out to eat like last week,
Yeah.
and then we ended up in a recording studio.
Oh, that's funny.
And I didn't even know Brandon plays drums, and my boy, I didn't even know nice. Next thing I know, I'm on bongos, and we're just having like the time of our lives. Something about music, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Here's the funny thing. You guys were actually jamming probably, right?
oh, jamming's an understatement.
Yeah, exactly. We were just chilling, like with our instruments in our hands, and we're like, "Yo,
We
you
were
guys want to
like-
jam?"
We were like, I would have took my shirt off. And, like, we had our assistant director Trey. He's on the mic, fake trying to sing. Like,
that's
it
funny.
was
That's
felt
the
like
vi-
rock stars.
Yeah, that's a
It was
vibe,
like
though.
2 a.m, and it's like,
Yeah, that's what we thought we were doing, right? But we were just chilling, right? But
we
we
playing like Jewel or something.
we wanted that image. And then, high school comes around, and like we were all like, we're not really doing anything. So then I made like new friends in high school, and they actually knew how to play instruments. And I like kind of knew how to play instruments. I like, went to a couple lessons for bass guitar and like electric guitar and stuff, and drums from Rock Band. But we're like, yo, there's a talent show coming up. Let's just like, do a few covers and play at the talent show. So we,
What was the cover you did?
it was, do you know Rise Against? It's a band called Rise Against, but
Rage Against the Machine.
that's a great band too. Or
I don't, bro. I'm an old ass man
Yeah,
now. So
no.
like that's why I say I listen to old music. I probably don't even know none of the new artists. Like, I don't know.
I feel that. I mean, there's a lot of people I know that are like that, and that's totally okay because I feel like a lot more older songs are classics.
And to be honest, like maybe hip hop specific, like things just started sounding the same. I kind of lost interest. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a few artists like they'll put out something I'll dig, just for the vibe, but or like when I'm working out. But like if I'm home, if I'm cleaning, like everything I'm listening to is like before 1995.
Damn,
Like, yeah,
that's
like-
really old. I thought you'd say like 2000.
I'll give it 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, let's give it 2000.
Okay,
Yeah.
So like Eminem's in there too, right?
Yeah, but I don't listen to rap like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like at least nowadays, like I don't listen.
So what do you
too much
mostly
rap.
listen to?
Classic rock.
What are your like favorite bands?
Well, like my playlists are like more like songs that I just like. Like I'll have like a running playlist. Like when I go running, I just
Yeah.
certain songs I like to listen to. But I mean, I just listen to classic songs, bro. Like I'm trying to think of just something obscure that would be like random, like like "Oh Honey" by the Delegations. Like Atlantis.
What is it about those songs that like you keep going back to?
Something about like the feeling of soul, of like this non-quantized like natural feeling where I feel like people don't make music like that anymore.
It's funny you mentioned quantized. I think you told me like last time we met that you used to produce beats.
Yes.
Okay. So like, does that, it's
Yeah.
funny. You're like, oh, I like non-quantized stuff. Did you
Yeah.
produce like non-quantized stuff?
Eventually, like I started getting like I'd make rap beats, and that kind of was like, you know, the Fruity Loops, the Logics, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
MPCs, and a lot of that stuff was based in quantized. If anyone doesn't know what quantizing
true.
is,
We should talk
should
about
probably tell them what quantizing is.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of like, how do you explain
Okay,
quantizing?
so if I
You
were,
can probably do it
if I like, I don't know if you can hear the table, but like if I like, you know, did like a beat, you know, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's not gonna be like perfectly on time. You just, you know, if you play a drum, it's not gonna be perfectly
Right. So
on
what the
time.
computer does is it takes those beats and it places that note exactly
Exactly
where
on
it
time.
mathematically needs to be
Yeah,
on time.
on time.
Yeah.
Like so, it'd be, you know, So what Arun's saying is like it's just too perfect.
Yeah.
You
It makes
kind of
everything structured.
you kind of want that like slightly off, like by a millisecond,
I think
maybe.
they call it like humanization, like that
Yeah.
human aspect,
yeah,
right?
and I
Like,
think is it a swing? If
yeah,
it's
you can
swing.
add swings
Yeah.
that they give that same type
Yeah.
of, you know, offbeat feeling. And it's so minute that like you just feel it.
You
don't
feel it. You can't,
necessarily
like, hear it. Yeah, yeah,
it's in the
exactly.
rhythm. Yeah. And so back to what you were asking, like the reason I kind of started making beats like that was just natural in hip hop. But then as I started exploring melodies and just music in general and instruments, I kind of started leaning towards those type of non-quantized, just because it felt more real, like the soul was in there. And I think that's maybe why I like the music like that back in the day, because
Mm-hmm.
even the way it was recorded on those big reels, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
like, there wasn't Pro Tools, everything was analog. So
Yeah.
something about that era, and for me, it's like those songs, they never get old. They're already old. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
they'll never, they're timeless.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. They're
And
timeless.
I think like it also captures like a memory for you, like a time zone. And I think there are not too many art forms that do that. I feel like music kind of does that the best. Like when you first heard that song or when you first heard those songs, it just captures that moment really well and how you feel about it. And so when you listen to it like after, you know, a few years later, you kind of remember that time.
Exactly.
And you're just like, whoa, this is crazy.
That's why my running playlist is the way it is, because like the different cities I've lived in, I'll go running as I live there, and slowly
you're like, oh, I'm in Texas right now. Oh, I'm in Canada.
well, not that, but more like you said, remembering more like where I'm at that place in my life.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even like I'm in LA,
Physical,
I'm in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm like mentally, like I'm feeling what I felt there, right? And so like I'll try to tap into that, even like almost like I recognize I can feel that. So what I do is, even now when I hear those, I try to soak in the moments, make new memories with like, and just something about them, man. It just, like you said, music, I feel like music and math are probably the languages of the universe.
That's insane that you think about that. But I feel like it's true.
Music is math too, but you know,
yeah.
it's frequency and,
Yeah.
you know.
Math, and yeah, like physics is built upon math, so
Yeah.
that's insane.
I mean, down to the wavelengths, it's
Yeah, like all the scales. The only reason we like this music is because someone was like, "Hey, this scale sounds good. Like these notes sound good, and just use these scales, and you're good."
I wonder what the first like music wasn't. It like cavemen, like
It's got it. Yeah.
screaming in their cave.
They had drums,
Okay,
probably clapping.
Ready,
like,
improv. Caveman first singing
Oh,
scream. But you might have to get away from the mic if you're gonna scream.
I feel like you might be better at this.
See, see,
That's too quantized,
that's
bro.
I feel
It's
like
too quantized.
yeah, it's too quantized. But see, you did it way better. I visioned more like, like fucking sounding crazy as shit. And then there's just one of them looks at him like, whoa, what sound was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what did you do there?
They're like, "Yo, that sounded good.
That
Do
sound-
that again."
Because it's real. Like if you're at like an opera or somewhere, like when you hear like a choir, right? Like
Yeah.
an amphitheater, and you hear like this massive choir, even if you're in a stadium and you hear the roar of people, right?
Yeah.
Like all those voices, like something about that, like frequency of that voice hitting you. I feel like that's why they do the monks, right? They do the
Yeah, I mean, there's certain
you know?
frequencies that hit you differently.
Yeah, like the D note.
Yeah, yeah. Like
You know about the D note?
what?
The D note.
No, what about it?
Oh, you don't know the military has a frequency and note that they can hit and it'll make you poop and vomit at the same time.
Really?
Yes, it's called the D note. South Park did a whole episode, right? Am I wrong? They called it the brown note,
okay.
D note, you know.
Dang.
Yeah, bro. So like, perfect example, just frequencies.
Yeah, there's just like certain frequencies that artists will like. They know it's no one else like kind of knows, but they're like, okay, 144.2 hertz. If I strike this frequency, like people will like it more, or I can control their minds or something like that.
I can control their minds.
People
Mind control.
People believe that, or like it's
real.
subtly
Yeah.
like change
MK Ultra,
things.
all that.
You never know. Like you make a good music, right? If you make good music, you're technically kind of changing someone's mind. You're kind of mind controlling them if you think about it in a way. Like you're making them happier or sad. But it depends
I get
on
what
the
you're
person.
saying. You're mesmerizing them.
Yeah,
You know?
But you're hitting these frequencies by
Yeah,
doing
you're
that.
you're tapping, and I wonder if that like is that idea of music is the same as like the idea of like when we sit around a fire, like we tap into like this caveman biology, right? So I wonder if music comes from
You feel like caveman when you're around a fire.
everyone's had this moment where you and your friends are sitting around the fire.
It's always
and
a vibe.
everyone's quiet for a moment, and it's something about that
Okay.
fire in that moment. And I feel like that's like
interesting.
rooted in like our DNA from our caveman generation to where that was warmth, that was light, that was survival.
I think you ruined campfires for me now.
What?
Because now I'm
How?
gonna,
That should make it better.
no, because I'm gonna be at a campfire now, and once everyone's quiet, I'm gonna be like, because we're all cavemen. Because we're all cavemen ancestors.
No. What you do is it's quiet, right? It's completely quiet. And you go, you just started the beat, and then what you're gonna notice is they're gonna be into it because you're tapping into that.
No, but I mean, it definitely is gonna make things better. But as a creative, sometimes you want simplicity in things, right? And when you look at things, you're just like, oh, it's just a fire, right? Like now I'm gonna think every time there's a
I
fire.
have the inability to do that.
Yeah.
because I have OCD.
And what sucks, and what's a blessing and a curse is like, if you make videos or make movies or make music, you look at everything like, oh, how am I going to use this on my own? Or you're going to look at it technically or what they did wrong instead of just sometimes enjoying.
Kind of like if you're a
That surface level.
musician and if you're listening to a song, you're analyzing
Yeah,
the
you're
song
like-
instead of kind of soaking in.
Yeah,
just
you're like,
as a fan.
this is too quantized. And then
Right.
you're like, I like the
Yeah.
older shit, stuff
you're
like
not,
that.
You're not soaking in it as like a
Yeah.
baseline fan.
So hopefully that doesn't happen with campfires. But now that I'll always remember this conversation. So maybe, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that we all have these things built into us. Like whatever we are sitting here right now, it's just a product of millennia. They say caveman and however long we've been around. I don't even know if that's really how long we've been around.
Yeah.
We think we know what we know, but we probably don't know.
If you
jack.
were transported back in time to be a caveman, do you think you would be able to like survive that era?
like
You right now,
as
yeah.
me
Yeah.
right now,
And you're the
because you have to be born to be able to build your body up, right? So like the conditions that's why we're like weak. We're like humans nowadays. We're
Yeah.
like we live in houses, we wear shoes. We're
Yeah.
like so weak when it comes to surviving in natural habitats, right?
Yeah.
So like the only way you could survive those times is you'd have to build up those calluses to temperature, to survival, to and
Yeah.
As soon as I get there, I'm just lying down, like just fucking.
I'm not even thinking about that for me. Like, that's a good point you bring up. But for me, I would be like, how do I cure boredom? Like, bro, like
What? For the caveman?
for me, like I'm gonna go back there, right?
You're not going to be bored. You're going to be scared for your life everywhere you go.
No, but, like,
saber-tooth tigers.
you get accustomed after a certain time, right? Like you're like, okay, this is my life now. But you're still gonna be like, okay, like let's say we're safe, during the
Okay.
night. We're in the
I
tree.
see the scenario, so let's get there. Sorry, so I'm not gonna act this one. I'm just I'm just getting to the point. I'm just getting
Yeah.
I'm just you're at the point where your survival is figured out. Is what
Survival.
You're saying.
Yeah, you have
comfortable
you're in the
with
herd.
some aspect.
You're in the
You-
herd. You probably have a shoddy. You
Oh, you got a shotgun? As
no,
your caveman?
not a shoddy. Like
Oh.
a girl, probably. Like you
Oh,
probably.
a shoddy. I said, you got a shotgun? You got a shoddy? You're good.
You're good.
Until you run out of bullets, but yeah.
No, you're screwed then then because you're like, oh, what am I gonna do without the bullets? Like,
Right,
you can't make ammo unless you're good at that. I don't know, but I feel like I wouldn't be.
No, you're not making. You need gunpowder.
Yeah.
So you're not.
So I just feel like I'd be screwed then, and I'd be like, yo, what do I do? Like, I'm so used to watching movies and music and listening to music. Like, I'm gonna be back there.
I mean,
one.
maybe you do like Castaway, and you'd find like a pet animal or thing, and then you'd start talking to that. Like,
Yeah.
Or maybe
I mean-
you'd go crazy, start talking to yourself. I mean. Maybe what you do is you just dedicate your life to hieroglyphics, and you make them like funny hieroglyphics that people in the future, like you write Google on the wall or something. You know what I mean? Like you just something to throw somebody off. Like
No, that reminds me of I Am Legend when he was talking to the mannequins, Will Smith.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if just going back to like humans and like our biology, right? We're social creatures. So the minute you make us in solitary confinement or anything like that, we're gonna go to complete crazy town. You know what I mean? Because we need to be able to like. It's crazy. Like it makes me think of this other thing I was looking up the other day. Right? Kind of on topic, kind of off topic, but it's animal suicide. Right? Yeah. So
Does that happen?
does it happen? Yes, it happens. So like there's an animal, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's called the tarsier or something like that.
Okay.
Tasier, something like that. It looks like a little like almost like a little chinchilla lemur looking creature.
Okay.
And what they found is when they catch these creatures and they put them in cages, like solitary away from anyone and confine them, within probably like 48 hours, they start bashing their heads against the wall and kill themselves.
Ooh.
Dolphins, there's accounts of dolphins who are in captivity who become depressed, and they're mammals, so they end up going under the water and drowning themselves.
That's crazy.
I turned this really morbid really fast.
No, I mean, I feel like it's interesting to see, like, you know, how, like, if it could happen to animals, like obviously it's happening to us, right?
Oh, I mean, obviously it's happened to us. That's why we do what we do, I think. Right?
Yeah,
It's the same thing about raging against the darkness, right?
Yeah.
But the point is confinement and being solitary.
I always thought, like, because we had a higher stream of consciousness, that's why we do it.
In what terms? From the animals?
Yeah, and like I thought that's
I
why
don't
we
know
do
if we do.
because we're smarter. You don't think we have a higher stream
Well,
of consciousness?
it depends what you define as consciousness.
I just feel like I don't know. I guess I was saying, like, do all animals know?
Because I think you're talking about intelligence.
And I'm talking about intelligence. Yeah. Because almost all animals know that they exist in, like, the world, right? Pretty much.
What do you mean they exist in the world?
Consciousness basically essentially means that you
You can adapt to your surroundings and the survival.
and you kind of know
Yeah.
that you exist in the world.
Yeah. I
Sort
mean,
of.
you can look in a mirror and know that's
Yeah,
you.
that's you, okay.
Even though elephants, they found that can do that. Elephants can do that. They can look in the mirror and know that's them.
That's interesting.
They did a bunch of experiments on that.
Wow.
But yeah, your point is right. Yes, they know they're on Earth. They're living with some type of purpose for survival.
Yeah.
They're biological creatures.
Yeah.
That definitely have brains and feelings and all that.
Yeah.
I think that when you talk about levels of consciousness, like even intelligence, right? Like, yeah, we're smart, but to our own scale, right? So like there's arguments out there how people talk about like the intelligence of like say dolphins or say octopus. So like, you know, octopi are supposed to be like really, really smart. Like they're probably the true aliens on this earth.
Wow.
Like I love animals, bro. Like I go down rabbit holes looking up. Like
What's
that's
your
why I
favorite-
knew about that the tarsier that smashed.
What's your favorite animal?
Whoa. I've never been asked that question. I have to
Really?
yeah, I've never been asked that
Dude.
question. Like off break. I take it back. I have been asked that question by like my nieces and
Okay.
nephews, and I think
Yeah.
wolf has always been my like go-to.
Okay.
Because kind of going back to your loner thing and that type
Yeah.
of, I don't know. I think wolf is just what I always felt that I
Yeah.
was like. So I always answered that. But when I talk about favorite animals out there, like yeah, I'm not sure. There's so many. But what's your favorite animal?
It always switches around, but I really like the cat family for some reason. Like,
You have a cat.
I have a cat.
And your cat's name is?
I like this cat. My cat's name is Munni. So
Munni?
Munni, yeah.
Money by money money baji.
Just Munni.
Oh, just money.
Yeah, but yeah, like I don't know, something I've always loved cats. I like, you know, the way they look, the way they act. It's really cool.
You might know this or you might not know this.
I probably won't.
We don't know this. That's why I'm asking you. But it's something we were talking about the other day because we were talking about cats. And we were curious, like, what made, like, say, Egyptians be so into cats? You know what I mean? Like, what is some of these ancient civilizations, they revered cats, right? So I'm just wondering, like, what was it for them?
I feel like, you know how, like, they say sometimes dog, I don't know if you...
I have 2 dogs. I love dogs. Yeah.
don't they say dogs are like kind of dumber than cats because they're more loyal? Or is that not the reason?
I'll give you that. They do give like cats like the little bit of they're more like intelligent, but I think they call them more intelligent just because they're like emotionally rejective. You know what I'm saying? So like that's I think they're kind of like standoffish.
Yeah.
So they kind of attribute that to them knowing more or something.
Yeah. So if
I could be wrong.
I'm just like thinking out here. I don't know if I'm right.
Let's
but
flush it out.
Yeah. So I think the cat, right? They still like hang out with you, right? They'll still like be next to you, but they kind of like act like they're the leader. If you think about it, right? The dog will be like, "Oh my gosh, like you're my friend." The cat will be like, "Oh, feed me, you peasant." And like, and the dog will be like, "Oh yeah, feed me. I'll do the."
And so this is great. We got a dog person and then a cat person here. There's so many questions I'm curious about. So like with what you just explained, right? Like what is like, because I love walking in and my dog runs up to me. I could walk out for 3 minutes to check the mail. I'll come back. It's like I was gone for 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like you're saying they're standoffish. So what is the appeal of felines for you?
To cats.
Yeah.
When they give that like,
Dude, you're like Tiger King color, like kind of like right now.
That's funny. It's when they give that second of affection, and you always don't know like if they're doing it just to get food or whatnot. But it's something like, you know, they won't give you that affection, but you kind of like
wonder
want
how that plays into you cat people's psychology.
Yeah,
what is it about y'all that's
what's
love rejection to get that little bit of just
you want what you can't have.
Yeah,
bro.
you want to get beat down to finally get that little bit, and that's.
I have a question. Why do we find animals that could literally kill us attractive?
Because we haven't met them in real life.
But even like people that love tigers or, you know, that love...
They haven't met a real tiger.
No, like literally...
No,
like,
they've met drugged up tigers at zoos.
If you go to Africa... I've been to Africa. Like I've been on a safari.
Yeah.
And these people like... what they are... Like the safari is basically they give them like a country-sized like land. It's all natural. They don't do anything to it. It's just random animals that are in there, right? Obviously they have a giant gate, but it's the size of a country. So they can't like manage that. And they just like love the animals. Like they're like, oh my gosh, like I love the tiger. And sometimes like they're wild enough to like just play with them.
So are you saying like you're asking what is it that the animals that could kill them, right?
Like we look at a tiger, we're like, wow, beautiful stripes, like nice teeth.
I don't say that.
You don't think that?
I look at them like that thing will kill you.
I think that too, but I'm like, I feel like
it's a beautiful animal.
It's a beautiful animal. And I'm like, why though? Because it wants to kill us.
But that's what I think about snakes, right? Like I hate snakes.
Yeah.
But they are so interesting and beautiful. It's like something that's like terrifying and magnificent at the same time. And even dark in nature if you go to like as deep as you want to go into like the serpent mythologies and all that, right? But just like a snake in general or something about it that you look at it like, holy shit, but that's an amazing animal.
I feel like the weirdest group that think like that is the spider people. Like the ones that I see a black widow.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's a beautiful thing. I'm like, bro, no, you weird, bro.
I'm probably just an animal person, so I can understand that just because like through the same lens of, that's... Now, if it was running across the floor right now, I literally might smash that joint. Like now, I don't care if it was endangered or what. But like if I'm watching a documentary on it, like I'm just interested in like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down to the like I love when they get those macro cameras and they get up close to them and you see like the hairs on them and this just like how they do their webs, just like they're just
That's
animals
really-
are amazing. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I can look at an animal and be like, that animal is amazing, and it will kill me from far. It's like the same as like gang members.
Dang.
It's like if I watch a gangland documentary,
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued or whatever. Like I'm into like anything about the black market, dark world, you know, like old school Vice, like African warlord stuff. Like I love watching it because I'm intrigued by it, but it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, but interesting at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something like, I don't know if you've seen, but there's like a lot of fascination with like murder documentaries recently. Yeah. And I'm like, is that good for us? Like as a society, like, are we supposed to look at murder documentaries and be like, oh, that's interesting?
Well, it's just the game Clue.
What?
The game Clue, you know, the game Clue.
Yeah,
it's like that. Like, you know, it's the idea of, I feel like it takes you there.
But using that, right? People are going to be more obsessed with it, right? So
I see what you're saying.
People are
Like
going to
influencing
it, and not even that too. It's like the Hollywood companies; they're going to be like, "Oh, let's make more," and then they start kind of not fantasizing. What's the word? Glamorizing these killers, and now like then that's where the copycats come in, and it's like
Yeah, but that happens exactly what you're saying. I think that happens in every realm of like even in music, right?
Yeah.
Like same with like saying like the hip hop world, things that they're talking about that say are not good things, but the label is going to push that and try. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
but sometimes that's like fake too.
Oh, even if it's fake or not, the point of saying like that
Yeah, yeah.
portrayal, right?
Yeah,
that
that portrayal.
sentiment that you're getting off.
It's like exciting, but when with these documentaries, you're watching like legit stuff, like families that are
Right.
legit affected, and it's like, imagine being like the family, right?
Yeah.
And you're like your your sister or whoever or like father is like a victim, and they portray that in the documentary. Like, are you gonna watch that documentary? Like, that's crazy.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
it's insane.
it's weird in like the climate that we're in with just content, period, right? We went from really all we had was movies and a few shows.
Yeah.
Like that's literally all we had in the beginning. And now it's turned into, I mean, you're in this space too, as far as like the creator space.
Yeah.
You know, well, more than anyone, just how, it's just flourished, right? There's so many, as many grains of sand there's probably that many creators out there right now uploading, and just, you have all these different types of content, and it could take you to somewhere dark. It could take you somewhere good. I like the idea of it all just because it's still expression, right? Unless it's something like you have like somebody beheading someone,
Yeah.
obviously, like Faces of Death
Yeah.
type stuff. You know what I mean?
I've seen that movie.
Faces of Death?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a website before it was a movie.
Damn.
Like back in the day.
Yeah.
It was it used to be, there was another one too. Brandon, I know you're a deep dark dude. I know this is he's a degenerate. This guy knows. Faces of Death, and then the other one
This
was
is like a sequel, Face of Death too.
there's a lot. All right, there you go. But yeah, dude, that stuff was dark. I mean, and just speaking about that, right? Like you're still younger than me, is where you probably still missed. I mean, you can go back and look at it, but I'm sure you've missed some of the absurdity of like what year were you born?
95.
Oh God, see,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you've missed a lot of just absurdity. And same with us, me that was born in 86, the stuff that happened before. You look back at somebody and be like, they did this on TV? Like even movies a couple years ago, right? So like,
I will say, however, it might actually be worse for us because we were all exploring internet as like 5-year-olds, and we like when we're 5, bro, the internet is like, it was nothing. Like there was no security and shit.
right.
So we would see crazy stuff. Like there were websites like, oh, have you seen this? Like we're watching 2 Girls, 1 Cup at like 8, 9. Bro, like imagine being that young and
Yeah.
seeing all that shit, and it's a joke, like
That's
public
why
joke.
you have a cat.
That's
I'm joking.
That's exactly why I have a cat.
Right. That
2 Girls,
explains
1
a lot.
Cup. Yeah.
You watch 2 Girls, 1
No,
Cup.
but
at the
you
age
would
of
see
8.
like shocker things like
I can see it in your eyes. Right? Like you looked up and you visually saw the scene. Yeah.
but you would see like, gruesome stuff.
Right.
Like internet back then was like, but seeing that at a young age, I think that's like I don't feel like I'm affected by it too much, but
You're right, because like when I was those young ages, if I was trying to look at anything crazy, it was like on one of
Too
those
slow.
static channels,
Yeah.
and I was trying to look through like the censorness of everything. That's the only way. Like that's the only. Or we literally you had to steal like someone's dad's porno magazine or something.
That sucks.
That.
Like,
That's I feel old as shit saying
so you were in the
this.
magazine era, not even like VHS tapes.
Oh, dude, I was in the poster on the wall era.
Oh, that sucks. Damn.
Yeah, so poster on the wall, magazines, DVDs finally came later, and that's that's when it really got crazy. Yeah, like you know what I mean. But yeah, bro, like I think that little gap between us, like in age wise, is enough for like really like I was a youth in the time where like no cell phone, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I had to go, like if I wondered what my friend was doing, like I had to hop on my bike, ride to his house, knock on his door, his mama answer, hey, may I speak to, whoever I was trying to see.
Yeah.
And
no, that's I feel like that's really nice because like we kind of had a hybrid.
yo, let's change the subject. I don't like how this whole talk to how old I'm going.
Okay, I'm down.
I'm joking. It's all like, yeah, back in my day.
No, I like hearing about it because
Yeah.
most people don't talk about magazines and that are your age. Like they're like,
Dude, I didn't read magazines. I just had one porno magazine that we stole from a friend's dad. That was the only magazine.
see, like I never hear
I'm
those.
lying. I read magazines.
I never hear those stories, right? Because most people like that are, I feel like your age, they're like, oh, I'm a nice job. Like, oh, back in my day, I didn't do shit. Or they would be like, oh yeah, there's crazy stories, but they never talk about it, right? That I've met. But yeah,
Yeah, we're all degenerates in this place.
that's amazing.
So.
I feel like being open about it is cool. Like, because you realize more
it's being
people are.
comfortable with yourself, man. And I just did that more in recent years as well.
Okay.
Just like being
Yeah.
comfortable in your own shoes, like you were talking about when we started this.
Yeah.
Just being yourself.
Being yourself, and I feel like it's you realize that everyone's kind of degenerate in some way. In some way, like nobody knows what they're doing. You when you're younger, you're like, oh, these adults are like so smart. You get older, you
They don't
realize
know
they're dumb.
shit.
Yeah,
They don't know nothing.
they don't know nothing, and then you realize you're dumb too, and then you're like, oh, everyone's dumb.
Man, for you realizing the stuff at your age is really cool to see because like like the things you're saying, like I can remember me coming to those realizations in the past few years and like remember the point realizing like, yo, this whole thing is a wooden roller coaster. Like, I'm talking about this whole thing, Earth is a
Earth.
wooden roller coaster
Yeah.
ready to ride off the rails.
Yeah,
So what do I need to care about? Whatever makes me happy.
exactly.
Now, so that's why I'm like, oh, this is happening over there. This is happening over here. I'm just floating on a cloud. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and trying to do my best to stay healthy physically, mentally, and have fun, bro.
It's freeing because I think it's also a generational thing too. Because
sure.
I feel like last generation, they were like, oh, we just got to this country, like we got to flaunt our wealth. We got to show like, oh, we're doctors, lawyers, engineers. And now we're past that. We're kind of a little bit more comfortable. And we're just like, oh, we kind of like, we don't care about that stuff. Like we just want to.
Yeah, there's so many factors, like even us being brown, like when you
Yeah.
talk about talking openly about like your feelings and mental health and all that, that's not
Yeah.
really promoted in that culture, at least in that generation, right?
Yeah.
And then that's one aspect. And then the other aspect is just like how we get down, like how we work, how we go for back to the same thing, what we call success.
Yeah.
Right. And for them, it was either getting to America, getting a job, whatever the case may be.
And they
right?
had to do that.
They had to do that, right? So they worked off, same as anyone who does anything hard, you work off grit,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But I think the difference was like if we look at the generation before us, let's go one generation before that. So
Yeah.
like say my grandparents, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like my grandparents, that generation, just in general, that generation, they were built on work hard.
Yeah.
Work hard. And I've heard this scenario I'm giving you. I've heard this somewhere else. I can't remember. But the idea is you work hard and you get success. After them, it was our parents' generation. That's where, computers started popping. Things became more educational. As far as information technology started happening. So it became now, don't work harder, work smarter. So now that generation was built on, okay, working smarter, right?
Yeah.
But it was still rooted in this very structured, hamster wheel world, right? Where which there's nothing wrong with that too, but like that world, that was like the parameters of what you lived in that generation, right? Now us, I feel like our generation is like we work passionately.
Yeah.
So like we're like whatever it is we want to do, we're just gonna get up and go get it because we want it, and it's probably gonna suck, and it might not be perfect, and I feel nervous, and I'm insecure about this, and it's probably gonna fail, and maybe I'll fail like 5 more times until it's finally like a edition that I kind of like, and then I'll scrap that one too, and then I'll keep at it, you know. But the passion fuels us.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, sometimes I think about it. I don't know if you think about this sometimes, but you know, like I love doing, you know, what I'm doing and like all these different adventures and shit like that. I love doing it, but sometimes I get jealous of like the people that like are so simple and they're just like, hey, I just want the 9 to 5. Like, I just want a house. Like I want to be like, I wish I could be like that. But you know, there's something in me where I'm like, yo, I have to do all these things and stuff like that. I'm kind of like envious. I'm like, dude, I feel like that's so sweet. You know, that's
interesting you bring that up because like it's interesting to hear you say that from you doing what you do and kind of looking at say that type of person and digesting what you're doing in relation to what they're doing, right? And I've done the same recently. I find myself thinking about like this, for example, right? Like as I've built up over the years, I find myself sometimes where I can work comfortably to where like I'm not really breaking my back. I'm doing what I love and I'm making good money, right? And I almost feel like a fraud when I'm doing that to where like I feel like I need to do some hard work. Like because when I see like I was just built on seeing my dad work hard, my mom work hard. I see people in the world work hard. Like, you know what I mean? Just like whether it's that old lady, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Like people be out there working hard, bro, just trying to survive. And when I see them doing that, and then I feel like I'm getting by doing some designing or doing this or doing whatever I love to do, I feel like I feel like it's not fair. And so I go run like 3 miles in the snow. For real. Like I'll try to do whatever, like, I don't know. Like I always try to fill that void with I need to be grounded and working hard. And I bring that up because what you're saying, it's kind of like, you want to be you're envious of them that they can be so simplistic in their needs.
It's like simple goals. It's like okay, you just go. You know you have to go to work. Like it's hard, right? But you know what to do, right? In a creative sense, right? You don't know what the next day is going to be like sometimes. Like you don't know what the day after. You don't know what the next week's going to be like, and that you know it's not as simple. And like being a creative, like you just don't know where it could go. It could go up. It could go down. I think that's, you know, which is also fun at the same time.
There's pros and cons because things that we might have the ability to do, you know, we might not have to call a boss to get off. We might not have to, you know, say change ourselves. You know what I mean? Or who we are like at the root to be a part of a company or whatever it is, right? Which at the end of the day, same thing, to each his own, right? I believe the same way with those people, they found their happiness in that, right? It's just that your happiness is in a different place. You know what I mean? Your happiness lies in somewhere that you might never get to, and that's the point. Your happiness is in,
and that's why I'm a cat lover.
Like it's like how they say it again.
That's why I'm a cat lover.
It's possible. There's a lot of reasons. We'll come back to digest that. But like it's the reason why, like they say, it's not the destination, it's the journey. You know what I mean? You're never going to be satisfied.
Damn, dude.
You're never going to be happy. You're never going to be happy.
Damn, dude. One more time.
2 girls, 1 cup ruin the rest. Like, all right. No. But my point is this. I'm joking. You're going to be happy, but you're always going to continue for more because you're chasing a feeling at the end of the day. It's not a monetary goal, or it's not like a certain bar you're trying to hit. Like those are little goals. Like this many followers or whatever the case may be. But really what it is, it's an internal like it's an internal feeling of you feeling good about yourself. And and even that idea is good and bad because people like that, it's great, but you don't want to put then your soul value into that stuff, the creative, like, you know what I mean? Use it as an outlet, but even designing, like I did it as a job and that's what I love to do, but I found myself putting my value in my work. So it'd be like, like what made me really realize it is I got sick for like a couple weeks one time, right? Like I was really ill and I was like, it was bad where I was like, yo, I might die. Right? So I'm dead ass serious. Like I was thinking what I'm gonna tell my mom that I might have like it was all just wild stuff happening. I don't know, like it was probably a buildup of burnout and being stressed and everything, and it finally built upon me, right? And in those moments, I realized I couldn't work. So now I can't do the thing that's expressive.
Yeah.
I can't work out. I can't do all the things that I've been using underlying to like rage against the darkness, as we talked about before, right?
Yeah.
So then I had to realize, oh man, that means I got to figure it out. Like it has to be from the inside out. You know what I mean? Like not like me kind of doing this and the stuff's giving me this. It has to start here. And that's like back to what you were saying about just being comfortable in your shoes, being free with saying whatever it is. And, you know, we talked about this. We were talking about like the 35-year-olds that, you know, or whoever, not being comfortable. And it goes back to the same thing I said about that 50-year-old CEO who gets 50 years old and he never got to be introspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His pride held him back to do certain things. His ego, maybe it was a grudge. Maybe it's all those things that everyone deals with in their lives on their own. And I'm to the point now where I'm like, yo, I might not be here tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, let's just full send. You know what I mean? Whatever we're going to do, let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's literally just like what keeps my gears turning now.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I think like sometimes when the gears are turning and you're like, you know, keep going. Sometimes it's hard to catch up with like friends that aren't doing, you know, creative stuff or, you know, it like, I don't want to say normal friends. You know how there's, what is it? The left side, right side brain.
Yeah. It's people that they were friends even maybe before you were doing your thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's just,
sometimes you're like, it's hard to catch up with them. And I've come to like recently, like a point where I'm like, okay, and like I can kind of like hang out with people. Cause before I'd be like, you know, 24/7, like, you know, whenever I like wake up, I have to do this.
You mean as far as catch up, like you didn't give yourself the time to like go hang out?
Yeah. Like I would have to, I feel like I had to grind in a way so that like I can kind of be a little bit more comfortable so that like I can spend my time with people.
I know exactly what you're saying. Because as a freelancer, like I can remember times when I was broke and I'm getting invited to a 5-star restaurant.
Yes.
And then even my man's like, I'll tell you, yo, I'm broke. I got to grind right now. I can't go. Yo, I got you. Don't worry about it. Bro, even me sitting there, this great meal and everything, and thank you for it, but I can't, my mind's going to be, my mind's not there. I can't do it. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
so like recently I've felt like kind of, oh, we're in the same table, like with all my friends, you know, and I'm like using creative money to like, you know, pay for the dinner or whatever. And I'm like, this is dope. We're at the same table. So it kind of seems like we're doing the same thing now. Before I felt like an outcast. I was like, bro, I'm like doing this creative work. I have to like, you know, while they're after work, they're free and I'm still like, you know, editing or something. And now it's like, oh, okay, now like we're sitting at the same table. We're eating the same dinner. I'm like, okay, now I'm like kind of back to reality a little bit.
So it sounds like you've gotten to a point where you're kind of adding structure back to your life.
A little bit, yeah.
You're at the point where you're stable enough to give yourself some time back.
Yeah.
Which is important.
And I don't want to lose that because I know like, let's say like I've been grinding till I'm like, you know, 30.
But what you said right there, I don't want to lose that, right? That's like a fear. That's like a freelancer fear. You know what I'm saying? Because like we grind so hard for this. It's almost like someone who came from the hood, didn't have nothing. You get all this money and you just want to buy the house. You don't want to lease because, you know what I mean? You're like, it might go away tomorrow. Yeah. It's the same thing with us, bro. It's like, is this real? This might go away tomorrow. And I went through those phases too. I even had like psychotic little weird things about like, yo, what if my computer breaks? What am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's the same idea of like everything's hanging by a string because you're a freelancer. Yeah. Right. But what I've realized is you got to remember, well, oh man, I got to this point. That means if I lose it all tomorrow, I'm going to get right back to where I'm at because I already did it. I know what it felt to be there. I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to get right back to where I'm at. It might take some time, but what else am I going to do? Yeah, and that's what you bring up with the advice, like have faith. And I've always tried to have like faith and all that stuff. And it's sometimes hard because like I have a few creative friends. But like in my like close area and like my close friends, it's like
a lot of them, you know, are making like crazy amount of money. They're like software engineers and stuff like that. And you always like compare yourself. You're like, oh
Right.
shit, like now they're living in, you know, now they're making like 200K. And I'm like, bro, like,
Yeah, but that goes back to the material aspect, right? And
Yeah.
It's like the same example with that 50-year-old CEO. He's multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire. And he's still they're the ones that still kill themselves too, right? So like it's really just we have to figure out how to let the little things be it.
yeah,
Let the little things be it, right? Let the people you love be it. And when you know they're it in your mind, then you really appreciate them, and then you go out your way to make that time to spend with them.
yeah,
Friends, your back to your work, any projects that you feel like, yo, I want to do this. I'm gonna just go for it because it's in your nature now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it's a fire that's been lit, and now it's just you can't help it. Like you couldn't go work at. Like you could go work a regular job if you needed to, just
Yeah.
to get back to where the point that you're at now,
Yeah.
right? But who you are in essence, like
yeah.
you have to create.
And that's you bring up a great point too. Like especially growing up, people would question like, you know, I had everything like set up, like I had like a nice job, like, and I was just like, yo, I just want to do like creative stuff, and I kind of like let all that go. And people would be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you know, what about like a job and something like that? I was like, I got this job already. Like, I feel like I can always go back. Like, I feel like that's not ever going to go back. Like, are you really that scared that I'm not capable of, you know, getting another job? Or
I'll
I
go
can
work at a trash man if I need to.
exactly. Like, there's
I'll go
millions of
wherever
jobs
if
out there.
I'm, you
And
know.
if you have faith in me, like, I can work wherever. Like, you know, there's always opportunity everywhere. Just that when people question that, I feel like they don't have faith in me. And I'm like, I just need you to have faith in me.
But that's
And-
also not having faith in you. That's their own fears
Their own
projecting
fear.
on
Yeah, yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to learn over time. Like, I don't really tell people what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really because when you tell people a lot of the times, you're kind of almost looking for validation or some excitement for somebody, whether it's your girlfriend, friends, or whoever, family. And when you don't get that, you feel like hurt about it.
yeah.
And I've talked to so many creators about just that idea. And I'm like, bro, you got to understand they're not where you're at thinking. So just do what you got to do. Let them see the fruits. And that's where, that's where you taste the sweetness.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you kind of start realizing that. And then you start making that bubble around you. And now you're in your creative, like just
Yeah.
all that's blocked out. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the goal to get to that state. like,
Yeah.
mentally.
No, I mean, there's also, I feel like a double-edged sword with that too. Sometimes it's like they see like an accomplishment you do, not even like you putting it out or anything, but it's like, you know, a big accomplishment. And then they're like, yo, congrats, bro. Like, that's crazy. Keep on doing it. And like, you have like other people that have been like supporting you while like you've been in the ground, right? And like, you kind of appreciate those people. Like, obviously you appreciate the ones that are, you know, talking about your accomplishment, that big accomplishment. But it's kind of like, yo, like, I wish you were kind of like there too, you know, when I was like really down on the ground. I try not to like, you know, judge that because I understand it's not easy to support a creator, honestly. Like it's really hard. Like,
And sometimes you got to tell your man his mixtape is trash.
exactly. Like, you know, but that's also supporting, right? I feel like saying nothing, that's worse than saying your mixtape is trash or saying
Right.
it's amazing.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah. So that's
real.
That's kind of where I'm like, you know,
Because he might get better.
it's kind of sad because it's like, you know, and then, you know, people start like hitting you up like, oh, yo, what you're doing is like really cool. And it's like, yo, where were you like, you know, when I was like a year ago or
But
2
that's
years ago?
nothing like that's like back to old school rap. Biz Markie had a song called The Vapors.
Yeah.
You ever heard it?
No.
You should listen to it.
Okay.
Biz Markie, The Vapors. And that's the idea of the whole song is these people didn't believe in him at that time. And when he's finally there, you know, megastar status,
Yeah.
they catch the vapors.
The funny thing is
You know.
those are the biggest motivators too. Sometimes.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
like, you doubted me, like, bro. I'm like,
Yeah,
for
and
you.
it's weird where that comes from because it comes from like our insecurity.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna show you, Dad. Right? That's like the old school
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right? Like someone trying to prove something to someone,
Yeah.
which is the double-edged sword, right? It takes you to greatness, but it is also like that kryptonite.
Yeah. But I also sometimes I feel like maybe I'm just projecting in my head. Like they probably just don't give a shit. Like I feel like most people just don't give a shit, right?
Well, they don't give a shit because everyone is living their own life.
Their own life,
Like
yeah.
the same reason why you can have like a UFO show up right now here over us, and we'll talk about aliens if we want a little bit. But if we had a UFO show up over right now,
Yeah.
you'd have like a soccer mom come out and see it. Oh my God, whatever. But tomorrow morning, she got to get the kids to school at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like she's at 1 a.m. tomorrow, she's probably checked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's everyone because, like, as humans, like, even the older we get, like, we get so much, like, these are our avatars, right? This is who we are. This is what we're in.
Yeah.
And it's selfish in nature, but it's survivalistic in nature too, where, like, you know, which is not bad. I think I believe in you should be selfish at times to put focus on yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But what I'm trying to say is like just that idea, it doesn't allow people to extend as much into your passions or, you know, because they have their normal life and their stresses and they're doing so. I don't hold that over a lot of people, even people I love.
Yeah,
Because I noticed what it was about them. It wasn't a thing that they didn't care.
Yeah.
It was a thing they didn't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're doing something, you're a visionary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever you're doing, they just don't get the vision.
Yeah.
They don't see it yet.
And there's also something freeing about knowing that they don't quote unquote care. It's like, oh, they don't care. Because before, I don't know, like I feel like when you're younger, right? Especially like early 20s, you think everyone like cares about you. And sometimes they do because you're in that environment like around school and like everyone's just kind of together. So everyone kind of cares about each other. Like, oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is they doing? When you get kind of older and you're kind of like, okay, now you're like a little bit few years in, you're just like, oh, everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's grinding. Everyone's hustling. Like, and no one cares. And now you're freely like, don't have to think about other people like judging.
Yeah,
you.
and well, you don't have to worry about people judging, but really what it is you don't have to worry about you caring.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like them not caring allows you to be like, okay, all right, let me go back over here and just do what I was doing then, because
Yeah.
now that thought and just idea is out of your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's cool to see you really hitting those marks, like, you know, at early, and I think it is because you watched Two Girls, One Cup. No, it was because you were on Facebook at 12 years old. My point is you started early on the internet.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. I think that's really helped, honestly. And I don't know where it comes from, right? My dad, he's an electrical engineer, but he doesn't know how to use like his phone or TV. Like, I'm
It's
like,
interesting you say that because I was thinking the same thing. Like me the other day is where I get my creative bug.
Yeah.
Because my dad, like neither of them my parents aren't creative people, you know, per se.
yeah, my mom's creative. So I know I get it from her. And I know
Nice.
like, I know how to problem solve through my dad. So
Yeah, likewise.
I definitely see like, you know, where I get my stuff from like my parents. And I think I have like a good blend on that. But that's interesting you say that, like you don't, your parents aren't that creative. Maybe they are in some way and you just like don't know how.
I think, you know what? I think I get my, like you say, problem solving and just my grit and hard work and like all of the emotional things that help me in business. I think they help me with that. And my dad, like it was double-edged sword, good and bad, right? Because like say if I was doing homework as a kid, like if I did my homework and if I messed up on something and say I erased it and the eraser mark looked messed up, he'd make me do the whole thing over again.
Oh.
Right? So I hated
So
that.
do you have perfectionism in you?
Yeah. Well, that's why
Okay.
I'm such a good designer. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that plays in to now like me making sure everything is perfect, it's symmetrical, it lines up this way, right? And pros and cons to just that aspect, right? So I think it's the same idea of just like I took those aspects from them, but just the creative part, I really think it just came from me like trying to assimilate with like being here. You know what I mean? By being the only brown kid, you know, like, you know that how it is at home, it's not how it is outside. So like you're more like analyzing and taking in and you're soaking up culture now, right? So I'm hanging with the white kids, I'm hanging with the black kids, I'm hanging with Spanish kids, I'm hanging with all types of kids, right? And I'm taking in what they into and I'm almost trying to find what I like, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm being exposed to all these different things. And I think in the form of me like creatively trying to find my identity, like I guess my first creation was like me trying to find my identity. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like an aspect later in life that really made me start feeling like, okay, maybe the root of creativity is expression. So it's like, how could I express myself?
Why can you, I guess, express yourself in like a normal field, I guess?
I think because I got commended like for doing like the times I did get commended, it was maybe doing something artsy or creative. So like I can remember one specific time, right? Like when I was maybe in preschool, like preschool or kindergarten, like my dad just taught me how to draw like a little Ninja Turtle head. That's all I knew how to draw.
So your dad's creative. There you go.
You know what? I take it back. I'm sure anyone can be those people who make those Subway sandwiches are fucking creative. Like, it is. You ever seen them make that shit? But my point is that he taught me how to draw that. And I remember going to school, such a young memory, right? I remember going to school and I remember me drawing a Ninja Turtle head, but then I just kept drawing Ninja Turtle heads. So for like an hour on this giant construction paper, I drew like maybe like who knows how many I ended up with because I was so young, maybe 50 to 100, right? And I just remember the teacher seeing it and like flipping out, like showing the other teachers, I can't believe you did this. And that was probably like the first time that I felt like I got a pat on the back.
Yeah.
And that was drawing and something creative. And I think maybe I internalized that. So as I got older, maybe that aligning with me looking at expression of myself as creativity, and it kind of morphed into then discovering hip hop, you know what I mean? And that just kind of kept the wheel going. And then I'm brown, so you got brown culture. Like you're just seeing all these things, and I became super hyper aware of whatever was happening, right? So I'm taking it all in, as I'm taking it in, I'm thinking about it, I'm appreciating it, and I'm hating it, I'm whatever the case may be. Yeah. So I'm like a sponge, and then it just somehow forms into this like thing that is me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Damn. And that's how I have like inputs from all these things. But I think the big part is just being hyper aware and try to find my identity.
Do you think perfectionism hurts you sometimes?
It used to. And it probably still does, but like I've learned to like say go by 80% rule. It's 80% good, go for it. Or like for instance, like a small example is like if I'm designing, right? I might spend too long on a flyer when I really just need to cap it like an hour before. And so now I'll just set my time. I know I'm done with it, whatever, and I'll leave it how it is. It might not be perfect, but I'm fine with that. So I guess, yeah, I'm fine with things not being perfect.
That's really good. Because I think for me, like most artists I work with, they're close to like perfectionist or like, you know, I feel like to a certain degree, you kind of have to be. I kind of worked backwards. I was kind of like not a perfectionist at all. And I was like just putting stuff out. And what that trained me was that my like threshold of getting better became quicker, right? Like I was like putting out shitty stuff. I would get feedback and then the next one would be better. It would be shitty. I wouldn't like try my best, but I get feedback. I make it better. And so like my threshold of perfect, like even like, you know, shitty stuff that I might make now, it might be like in someone's eyes perfect. But for me, I'm like, oh, I just like made this randomly or like in a day or something like that. And it's when a perfectionist sometimes works with me, it's kind of like difficult for me sometimes and difficult for them too. Because they're like, oh, I don't like how my voice sounds in this song. Can you like change it? And then we record it like, you know, for 5 days straight. And it's like, bro, like no one's really going to listen to this song. So like, let's just put it out and see how it does. Like just have fun with it. But there, you know, it might be insecurity. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely some artists that do it like, I want my voice to sound perfect. And sometimes I have to like nudge them and be like, yo, we need to like put this out because whatever reason it may be, because I feel like it may never be released, and I feel like the world needs to hear it in this like raw form, sort of. There's some beauty in like not being perfect, you know?
There's some beauty in it. There's efficiency in it. Yeah. There's, like you said, just the reps. That's part of it, right? Like just continuously, it's a muscle that you got to keep
For me,
working.
it's the reps, and it's still the reps, bro.
Still,
like,
it's always a rep.
For me, I feel like I'm not even started till I'm like 30, bro. Like I'm like, what are you looking at right now is just me trying a bunch of shit, and it's working pretty well. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna keep doing this. And when you're 30, you might see more perfectionist stuff, but I'm probably gonna like still, you know, be putting in my reps. But everything right now I'm doing is like my reps. It has been, and it, you know,
I really don't think it ever ends. I think even when you reach to the top part, like it's a gift and a curse that we're going to be looking over the horizon. What's next? Yeah. Which is good and bad, you know, but I think it's just about balance, bro. Balancing it all. That's like the key.
Yeah. For me, I just like being imperfect in front of people. You know, like social media has, like I said, I was in social media early days, like posting a picture of grilled cheese or, your cat or something. It's like shitty picture. I miss that, right? Everyone's like too perfect nowadays,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I like to show,
Everybody's quantized, bro.
everybody's quantized, bro. And like, I want to show that, like, we're beautiful as like, shitty post. If it does bad, who cares? Like, bro, there's tomorrow. And the next post, you're editing it the same way, but it turns out to be double as good because the last one did shitty. And
You think you became comfortable with that because you saw the results through the reps? Like, because for somebody who's not doing that right now, right? For them to start doing that, that first few steps might be the hardest, right? Those insecure steps of like just getting it out there. Because obviously, like you, like after you do it at top, this is just how I work, right? This is I'm fine with the reps, right?
Yeah.
But like for someone else, like how do they just like it really starts with something internally in them, right?
Yeah.
That they need to let go of, like some insecurity or some perfectionism. Like
Yeah.
they're not confident, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from.
I think for me it was like what I thought. I was like, you hear a song and you're like, I'm gonna make a song like that, and then you make something and it's like nowhere near close. You're like, dude, this is so shit. I suck, right? And you're just frustrated. And then most people wouldn't even post it and they give up, right? For me, I was like, why not just post it? Like, it's funny. Like, I had a good time making it, right? Like, let me just like post it. Who
I think
cares?
that's why people like you though. Like I think that's
Yeah.
why like I've people who tune into your streams, who watch your videos, I think they get a real sense of everything that you're saying, like a genuine guy who is just trying to live his best life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's not putting on these facades, who's not trying to pull some crazy stuff. You're really just pursuing what you want. And
Yeah.
I think that's what people gravitate to. Because like you said, that same person who has that 9 to 5, we might think they're happy, and they could be happy, and it's fine to be happy, and I would be happy with that too, like as
Yeah.
long as you're comfortable, right? But like also at the same time, they can look and live through you, right? They're like, they get to live a little bit through your creativity and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things that you're doing.
Yeah. And also like going back to like results and like, seeing like, oh, it's not doing well or it's doing well. Sometimes I would put all into something, right? I would like literally
And
everything.
it fall flat on its
And
face.
yeah, it does worse than something I did in like 2 seconds. So I was like, oh, why don't I just do both then? Like some projects I'll do all in, and I kind of detach from the results. I'm like,
Is the favorite stuff the best stuff you like doing, the comedy sketch stuff or parodies? Like what is what is the stuff you really enjoy?
see, like that's what people ask me all the time, and I say it's all of it, bro.
Yeah.
Like I can't answer that. Like I really like making music and I really like making videos, and those are probably the two things. But there's a bunch of things under those things, right? So I just like doing it all. I like being myself. However I feel. If I want to draw a painting and I want to post that, I will probably do that. I will probably make a sculpture or some shit.
You could be the brown Bob Ross. Do you know who? Are you too young?
Yeah,
for-
I know Bob
Thank
Ross.
God.
He's a
Oh
meme.
my-
He's a huge meme. That's how I know him. So,
That's how he knows Bob Ross. As a meme, bro.
dude, he's the biggest meme, bro.
He would be so disappointed.
No, I feel like he'd be happy. He'd be like, oh,
He'd be happy no matter what, because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
always happy. But yeah,
but I mean, he's an icon. But
and a chia pet.
do you think you'd be happy about that?
I mean, he had to. Someone from his estate had to sign off
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that. Like so.
But yeah, like what makes me the happiest? It depends on the day, bro. Like what tomorrow. What's gonna make you happy tomorrow? Do you know? I mean, it could be
Yeah, some jerk chicken with some.
exactly.
Yeah,
if I
like-
want to be a chef, like the thing is like, how do I blend them all together? I try to be myself through all of them, and so it makes sense why like I'm doing all these things. Like people, some people are like, yo, you should just do music, or bro, you should just make videos, and I'm like, I feel like I'd be bored so quick. Like I feel like I have to do all of it and kind of combine them and stuff like that. And although the growth might not be as rapid if I just focused on one thing, I like what I'm doing, and it's fun and it's exciting. And when I move, back from one thing to another, I'm like, it kind of feels more fresh and new, and I probably get better results because of that.
I've attacked things similar ways, and I've kind of battled back and forth with Number one, am I spreading myself too thin? Number two, am I a jack of all trades and a master of none?
Have you ever heard that full quote?
Give it to me.
So the full quote is jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. That is the full quote. I always thought like, bro, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, bro. And then somebody came up to me, he's like, do you know the full quote?
Say it one more time for me.
Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
You didn't make that up, right?
I did not
You
make.
just
You
did
can
that.
search it up.
Okay, no, I believe you. I just
You can legit search
Okay.
because I was actually on a podcast and some dude told me that. He was like,
Wow.
search it up right now. I searched it up and I'm like, you're kidding. Like, how come no one talks about
That's
that,
beautiful,
bro?
man.
How come no one talks
That's
about
beautiful.
that? Because like, you know, you would feel insecure about like spreading yourself too thin,
Right,
right?
right.
And then you're like, wait, like if I'm oftentimes better than a master of one, then what I'm doing is kind of right.
Yeah,
So it's like,
amazing.
dude, like
That's awesome, bro. Thank you for that. That was a good quote right there.
it's a really good quote. And I'm like, because people kind of say it negatively in a way, like Jack.
Well, no, that's why I said it,
Yeah.
because it has negative connotation. Like, yeah, you're good at all this, but you ain't the best at all.
Yeah, but
even
oftentimes
the
better than
master.
master of one,
Right,
bro.
right. That's good.
Like,
Which is true because goes back to the thing, the reps. You got to put in the hours. Speaking of hours, how many? What are you at? 1.5. All right, so we keep going.
I'm down.
All right.
It's up to you
Anybody
guys.
gotta go anywhere? Gotta take a quick break and just
Y'all
pour some more in
chilling?
this, 'cause
Y'all want to add anything? Are y'all feel no?
I'm gonna go contribute something right now.
He said he's going to.
He's gonna contribute something right now.
Oh God.
This bathroom break is brought to you by
What you burning?
You said you went and got some for us?
I think he's contributing to the bathroom.
Oh.
To the sewer system.
Oh, I thought you went and got some out your bag. Like you were about to have us eat like roaches. Like you know how those candies with the bugs. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like
Have you ever had one?
no.
I had a chocolate cicada. It's pretty good.
Is it because you only tasted the chocolate though?
It tasted okay. I'm not gonna say it's good, but it was weird. But it was tolerable. It wasn't like gross. It wasn't like ew. It was just like a unique taste. But the chocolate helped a lot. Like I would not eat it without the chocolate.
Was it crunchy?
It was crunchy.
Yeah.
And the wing gets in your mouth too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But-
can imagine that. So was it like dipped? Like they held the wing
was
and
dipped.
dipped it?
Yeah.
And then, so like you watched someone make this?
No, we went to the factory where they made it, and the chocolatier was really like excited to talk about the process.
Would PETA be mad if you caught a cicada, melted some chocolate, dipped it in there, ate it on stream?
Probably. I feel like
No, there's companies that do it though.
I feel like PETA. Yeah, they hate Pokemon.
No, they don't.
And
For real?
yeah,
What's
you're,
about Pokemon they hate?
you getting animals to fight each other? Yeah.
You're kidding me. Y'all are joking. Y'all
No,
y'all
they
are
actually
trolling me right
petitioned it.
They made a whole like game themselves where they made like Ash like super evil. they made their whole like.
They're-
Have
they're-
they gone to the wild and see animals killing each other? Animals
that's a good
fight
point.
in real life.
That's a good point. Have you ever heard of the game Assassin's Creed?
Yes.
Okay, so there was one where you're like sailing in the sea and you hunt whales, and
Oh.
they went ham on that. They were like outside the game studio. They were like, "We want this." And it's like, bro, he's just hunting a whale. Like they do that. They did that. That's history.
Yeah.
And yeah, they went ham. But the first time I heard of PETA was I went to Vans Warped Tour, and I was waiting in line, and there was like these cute girls, you know, and we're like young, like high schoolers. We're like, oh, anybody that's like cute. They came up to us. They're like, hey, do you want to like learn about our like this thing and put in your email?
Dude, the people that stand out front of the stores and like, hey, do you have a moment to talk about how to
exactly.
help? And I'm like, and you know what I say to them? I'm like, we got to say to kids. I love saying to them. Every time they come up to me, I'm like, what about these kids?
Yeah.
But no, sorry, go ahead.
And
It's like what I do to homeless people. I don't do it anymore, but what I used to do is
Damn.
like you see someone coming up to you, about to ask you some change right before. Hey, you got some change? You hit them with the same question.
oh
but
my gosh.
No,
You used
I mean,
to do that?
I used to when I was a younger degenerate,
Bro.
but now after living in LA and going to Skid Row
Yeah.
and seeing like the homeless population and just having more empathy. And dude, back in our generation, we had bum fights and like all that type of stuff.
true.
So like being older and really realizing what these people are going through, like, yeah, that changed my perspective.
Yeah.
Skid Row changed my perspective, seeing
100%.
it down there on everything.
But yeah, like the girl, she was like, put in your email and stuff like that, and she gives like stickers, and then we're like, oh cool, those cute girls like talk to us, and then they like left, and then we get like email on our like phones or whatnot, and it was like, thank you for joining PETA, and then we look at the stickers and it was like animals that were like dying and stuff like that, and we're like, bro, what is this? And I kept getting emails, and I'm like, bro, what did I sign up for? And that's the first time I heard of PETA.
I mean, that's the thing, bro. Like, I will separate myself from the animal kingdom because it's messed up out there. Like, if
So you're not part of PETA, but you love animals.
Right. Right. Yes. I'm PETA bread.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm PETA bread.
So you're the type to like enjoy the meat you're eating. You're like, oh, the sacrifice they made for us eating.
You know, I didn't take it that far, but yeah, if we want to talk about that, I've definitely had my time to like think about the animals and think about like this is what really made me think about it, right? Driving from San Francisco to LA, if you don't take the Pacific Coastal Highway, like the one that follows the beach, if you go down 5, which is like more of the inland kind of like...
It's shorter route too, right?
It's shorter route, but it's also like a lot of bored Dr. Seuss looking hills, but which is, I like that too because I'm from the East Coast. I got to, and it's shorter. But going down that route, I forget the name of it, but you pass this like steakhouse and farm, right? And on this farm, dude, we rode for probably like 2 miles and literally there were cows huddled up next to each other, like as far as the eye could see for 2 miles straight. So if like you're driving, you're just looking here, imagine that you see cows as far as you can back towards the distance and they keep going for a mile.
Wow.
And so like that was the first time that made me think about like, holy crap.
Holy cow.
Holy cow. Actually, holy goat, because that's the first time I ever really thought about my nephew was born and, in Muslim, in the Muslim culture, went to go sacrifice the goat.
Yeah.
And I went with my brother-in-law and my other brother-in-law over here, a good buddy. And we watched him sacrifice the goat. And it gave me a new appreciation
Of
for the whole process. From the killing to the
like it was like a
skinning.
love for it, or
Couple things: the love for it, but also the getting your hands dirty. Like we're so detached from like not having to do whatever the Native Americans or any tribal culture has to do, right? Like skin and see the meat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that plays into a lot of it.
I mean, low key, like if in the future it's easier for us to become like vegan and we get all the nutrients and stuff, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Impossible meat sucks.
It sucks. And
Like when the pandemic happened, all the meat was off the shelves except that. Did you see that? Like all the meat was gone except that. Smoothies? You want smoothies?
What kind?
I'm good.
I mean, I got my tea. I'm fine. Appreciate it.
I'm good. Appreciate the smoothie.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Smoothie shout out.
Smoothie
But
shout out.
yeah, like right now it's just A, more expensive. B, if they make it taste better and I get all of my proper nutrients, like I don't necessarily care what I eat. As long as it tastes good, I get my nutrients and yeah.
I've never gone hunting. By the looks of that vest, you've been hunting.
I wish. No. I would like to go hunting. Like I don't want to like kill the animal. Like maybe
Bro,
what?
you hear what he just said?
Look.
I want to go hunting, but I don't want to kill the animal.
I want a bow and arrow and maybe just like
You want to wound it?
wound it, yeah.
And let it die on its... That's the worst way because
No.
it suffers and bleeds out an agonizing death.
dude,
You want to hit it
target
right
practice. I just want target practice. Live, it makes it more fun,
Are you playing the dark villain bit right now? What's happening? I don't understand. Is this what you really believe? I'm so confused. No, you want that thing to die immediately. You don't want it to suffer. Even if you hit it, like if you don't kill it, it's
Yeah.
gonna run off into the distance, and you're gonna.
No,
have to
one
trail
time,
it.
my friends and I, it took 4 of us to catch like one little fish, because we didn't know like how to fish. Only
How
one
many
friend knew.
brown people does it take to catch a fish?
Yeah, too many. And we killed it.
It's because we're desert people.
That's true. That's true. But we killed it,
Yeah.
and we cut it open and we cooked it. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I found it interesting. I was like, oh, this is dope. This is camping. I didn't taste
Do you
that
know
great.
what type of fish it was?
No, it was just like a random fish.
It's like
but-
a sewer fish. Like, it's like they cut it open and it's like plastic inside of it.
But I think it was fine. It's just, yeah, it just didn't taste like that great. So maybe if we caught
Are you a
better
fish? Like, do you eat fish?
Yeah, here and there. I love chicken.
You like fish sticks?
Fish sticks are cool.
You like fish sticks? He likes fish sticks. You like fish sticks?
fish space sticks? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure.
Not
I actually don't eat seafood.
at all.
I've tried it, but it's like something about the texture, and then it seems too like seafoodish to me. Something about like the taste seems very oceanic. I don't know.
So it's not necessarily bad. It's just weird.
It's weird, but recently, like, my girlfriend, she's gotten me into like eating shrimp. So I've eaten shrimp and I've learned to like it just the way, she sautés it.
To me, shrimp has no like. I feel no seafood ish like what you're saying.
Exactly. That's why I probably like it.
Yeah.
One time in Jamaica, a guy caught a lobster for us and then cooked it in front of us, and I ate it, and it was literally like, it was amazing.
Oh wow.
So that was like an experience where I did like seafood.
Yeah.
but
Have you ever had crab?
I've tasted crab. Yeah.
So like one of the first times I had crab, it was like a huge table, like probably this size, and everyone had hammers. And we had like the crabs.
that's
like,
crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like smashing the crabs. And I'm like, what is this? And one time I thought it was alive. And I'm like, bro. But I felt like I was losing way more calories for the amount of meat you get. You get like this much meat. in
That's
each
what I
crab.
always didn't understand, right? It's like, well, not that I don't understand, because I understand, even though I don't have a love for crab, I know people love crab, right? But maybe it's part of the culture, I guess. Like,
I think it's
that's what I
culture
don't
because
understand.
for
like
me, I don't find it too hype. But other people like love crab, and they're like
Yeah.
they think all that
well,
smashing
Korean
and cracking.
barbecue, the same thing.
Is it Korean barbecue? Is much like
No, not taste wise, just the height, like the idea
of
having
doing the act.
like doing the act.
The taste is
Well,
really good.
taste. No, separate taste.
Yeah, okay.
We're not talking about taste because everyone has a preference, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
for me, Korean barbecue is worth it. Like doing all that shit, picking it up, waiting for it. Crab. I feel like you get a lot less meat though. Like statistically,
Is that
like
just because
if
we're
you're-
trying to be posers? Like we want to feel like we're doing something to get our food? Like
yeah, I'm more of a land food type person.
yes, land animals.
Chicken. Chicken's my favorite, bro. Like
Chicken, yes,
I've always eaten
chickens.
chicken.
Yeah.
And
Can't go wrong with chicken.
beef's pretty good.
Beef.
Depends how you make it, all that stuff. But
Right. What's your favorite way to eat beef?
you mentioned Korean barbecue.
That's it, right? Yeah.
And I've only went one time, and that
Dude,
was recent.
I only went one time.
Bro, it's
Recently.
so good.
He took me. Bilal
Dude.
took me to.
And you liked it?
Well, we met them there, and then he paid for us, and it was amazing.
Dude,
Yeah.
like I was blown away. I was like, dude, this is so fun.
Yeah.
It's like an experience, and it's the way they prepare their meat and the seasonings and all that stuff.
I
I'm like,
almost like already knew because you put barbecue at the end of anything. Like I'm in. Seafood barbecue? I've never
Seafood
had.
barbecue.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Seafood barbecue.
I mean, they have seafood at Korean. Where did you go?
It was Iron Age, but in Ellicott City.
Okay, the one
Yeah.
I guess I'm just thinking on the grill, right? Just like straight, like grilled something. I'd probably love a fish if it was just grilled.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did eat calamari one time, fried calamari in
you like it?
Hawaii, and it was good.
I don't like calamari that much.
I was very drunk off sake, and that's like because all right, I'm a very picky eater, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard to get me to try anything new. So like the only time my friends and family they get me try stuff if I'm slightly under the influence of something, and they'll be like, "Hey, try this. This is baby octopus. Isn't that what it is? Calamari, baby octopus,
Squid?
squid." Damn. See, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So they're like, I just remember it being, dude, you fry anything, I'll eat it. You barbecue anything, I'll eat it. You fry anything, I'll eat it.
Dang. Do you like pineapples on pizza?
I seen you guys recently did a video, or no, you did a
It's a stream. Yeah, I tried it for the first time.
I haven't tried it, so tell me what
Yeah.
to expect.
You haven't tried it?
I haven't tried it. What
Dang.
should I expect? Are you surprised I haven't tried it? Really?
Yeah, a lot of people were.
That's some white people stuff.
A lot of people were surprised that I didn't try it. And,
Wow.
yeah. Do
Okay.
you guys like it?
Yeah, I've tried it.
One yeah, one no.
Tried it once. And I don't eat it.
Okay.
But you don't mind it.
No, I just don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it?
You don't like it?
For me, when people say does it belong on pizza,
Uh-huh.
I think it does. But I don't like I don't prefer the taste. Like it's not my top 3, top 4 toppings on pizza, but I feel like it does go well. I thought it'd be weirder on pizza,
Then it tastes.
than it tasted.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this kind of fits.
I'll give it a shot just because. I mean, I only have pineapples with white rice and teriyaki chicken because I'm an established gentleman.
When you're a kid, you look for that like little bit of like sweet.
Mm.
So like you're going for that. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I'll eat it, but it's like I'm not going for it. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
So you wouldn't order pineapples on your pizza,
And,
dude?
and a lot of people mix toppings. Like it's not just pineapple. They'll like put jalapenos and
yeah,
other
but that
things.
don't count.
Yeah.
When I think of you're putting pineapples on your pizza, I vision like a few pepperonis flooded with pineapples. Like that's what I vision as a pineapple pizza. Don't get me wrong, I love pineapples. I've been to the Dole factory
Okay.
in Hawaii. Like did their little. Dole.
I heard like technically pineapples eat us.
Explain.
The acidity is
Mm-hmm.
it's like something on our tongues. I think it's like eating us apparently.
I do taste that weird, or I get that weird feeling on my tongue. It is also, they say, it gives you natural serotonin too.
Really?
Yeah. Because when I was depressed, I was looking at
Here's
foods.
pineapples. You just got a whole room of pineapples.
Listen, when I was depressed, I was looking at foods that would make me not depressed.
Damn.
And pineapples came up on the list.
It's crazy how food affects you. Like we
Oh,
sometimes
dude.
forget about it, but it's everything, bro.
the 2 biggest things in my life right now that affect how my day goes is food and sleep.
And I think physical activity too.
Physical activity, yeah, for sure.
I think like that's to keep.
Do you work
on
out?
Yeah, I do.
What you do?
Pretty much like everything. I lift a lot more than cardio, but I don't do like max.
Like you go to the gym?
I go to the gym, yeah. And I just do it for, like before, when you're younger, you're kind of like, and as a skinny dude, you're like, I want to get big, and you take like all these protein shakes. Now I do it for like, and before
How
I
you
do like
feel.
for health.
You do it for how you feel.
How you feel, yeah. Health reasons, mental reasons. Like I feel like it helps so much with creativity, bro. Especially if you go on walks or like runs. Once you get that runner's high or like walking high or whatever it may be, you start thinking of things and then it like really helps. And I'm like,
I love it. I mean, like to get out of my depression, working out was the baseline that started me into healthy living. So I was living in LA at the time. I found this Muay Thai gym and I became really close friends with everyone there and just started working there. And literally like you said, that physical activity, just getting that sweat out, it slowly started getting my life to a baseline where I'm like, well, if I'm going to work out, I need to eat this. And if I'm
Yeah.
doing this, I need to eat. And it kind of set my life into a good direction of like, okay, I need to feel good within myself first. And just physically, I wasn't even at my mental aspect yet.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
physically, that like mental like introspection came later.
Yeah.
But like just getting my body and getting the stress off and like sitting at the computer, I could feel everything just tightening up. You know what I mean? So like being physical just helped. Release it all.
And sometimes you forget and you're just like, oh, let me just like go to the gym. And then you realize like, oh shit, this really like helped me. Like, oh snap. I like feel much better. What the heck?
You, I would love to get you training with us sometime, doing some of the Muay Thai and all that.
That'd be
stuff.
fun.
Yeah,
I've
because you
only-
got the body type for it.
I've-
Kinda
I've-
tall, slender.
I've wrestled when I was in high school.
nice.
So I really liked wrestling.
Nice.
That was really tough, but it's like the lessons and shit like that.
That's
it still sticks with me.
That's why I like doing hard stuff, and like more and more now, it's like kind of psycho about it. But like if something really scares me or makes me like uncomfortable, I'm like, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I gotta do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate it. That means I gotta do it. And it's interesting. We talked a while back with a fighter pilot, and it was so interesting to hear his same thing is like his idea of why he conquers fear is because he doesn't like the feeling of fear. So anytime he feels fearful about something, he's like, oh, that means I need to dive headfirst into it, because then that means you get rid of the feeling. So he's really just angst by that feeling, and he wants to get rid of that. How do you get rid of that? By facing your fear. Speaking of that, I asked this question to Scrappy. What's your worst fear?
Worst fear.
And I guess I should premise this because there is something simple, right? Everyone has the basic worst fear, which is anything happening to anyone we love. That's the basic worst fear.
Yeah.
What's a more like claustrophobia? Like, is there, even if it's an irrational fear?
Yeah. Claustrophobia is up there. It's not that much. Like I've gotten better with it. But I feel like just the thought of like dying nonchalantly and like in the middle of nowhere, and like no one will find my body. Like that's for my family. Like, right. Like not people knowing like where my body is, or like
let's take that aspect out, because we were talking about this too the other day about how a lot of our death revolves around, or our analyzing our death revolves around what everyone else would feel. So you're still going to the same thing about hurting someone you would love. You know what I mean? It's still that same aspect. So try to look at something internalized.
But like that affects where I was looking at a cliff, right? And I was like looking down, and I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm like, yo, what if I just like tripped, you know? And then that's still like a fear that I live with. Then that affects my decisions. And I'm like, oh shit, what if I just like jump? Like,
well, what you're talking about, that's a thing. It's called the jumping into the fear of the void, call of the void. Yes. Did you know
so
that?
that's like a fear, or what is
it's
that?
a thing that like when you're over things, like, what if I just turn the wheel and go off this bridge?
Yeah.
What if I just jump off this building? What if I just punch this baby in the face right now?
Yeah. Like,
I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah. So that's
It's called the call of the void.
Okay. Like I have those call of the voids like all the time, because you're like thinking like, oh, you're going through your day and you're like, I could literally like change everybody's life.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Or you know, like,
Do you think that's a power complex though? Not a complex, but like a something, you know?
Maybe for some people. For me, it's not. For me, it's like, oh, what if I like accidentally like fuck up and fuck up everyone else's life? Like for me, it's like
interesting you say that. It makes me think about like people who commit suicide off the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. They always jump towards the city facing side because they want someone to find their body.
Interesting.
So I think maybe it speaks to like, if we take away how it affects our family, just the idea of the nonchalantly, like us being lost in the ether, not being remembered, right? Like, which honestly, that is the same thing that motivates like Egyptian pharaohs to build giant pyramids. You see what I'm saying? It's leaving, I don't know, not directly, but it's this idea of like, I think humans and our mortality in relation to what we leave and what's thought about us and how it affects all that, you know?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, for a fear though,
it'd be irrational, like you scared of like gerbils or some shit.
No, I'm trying to think. Do you have a fear?
Claustrophobia.
How bad
fear.
Is it? Like,
well,
can you do no windows?
I was locked in the closet when I was a kid.
Ooh.
So I think that like
I can do closet. I can't do like if I can't move. Like if I'm in like a treasure chest or something, or if I'm stuck on a roller coaster and like someone leaves, bro. That almost happened. But I was like
panic attacks and start kind of breathing.
Yeah, I was like breathing, so I could kind of control it. But there was people like near me, bro. They were like screaming. And one time I was walking. This was like happened recently, like a few months ago. Like they couldn't get it open, and people were on there for like 30 minutes, like on this. So I'm like, bro.
I've gotten used to it over time, only because like that. Well, claustrophobia or just those feelings in general. Like if I'm doing like jujitsu, I'm training or whatever, like. The idea of same thing of feeling comfortable when you're uncomfortable, right? So like that's why people take cold showers, right? It's like these things prep you for those moments. But claustrophobia specifically, I don't know. For me, it's like I don't know. I think everyone has that too. Like going back to the caveman thing, like like same thing with heights, right? Like that's a caveman thing. Like that thing you feel, you might not be scared, but your body looking over that thing, some neurons start shooting off when you do that. And that's from your caveman brain back in the day saying, yo, Jeff just fell off that joint and I don't know what happened, but it didn't end good for him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be scared of that cliff. So when I see heights, my body naturally goes into anxiety mode, fight or flight, right?
Yeah. That's
All those
insane.
things are happening. So I think the same things happen to us now.
Yeah. No,
Just in
100%.
different ways, right? So like height being an example, or sorry, like the fear of heights, right? So back to claustrophobia, I think that comes from maybe getting caught in mudslides, maybe getting caught in caves, spelunking, you know what I mean? Different places where you just feel confined.
Yeah.
It's going to be a natural, natural one in a while out.
For me also, like claustrophobia is also tied to dying nonchalantly. Like,
Dude, that's the theme. You
like,
don't want to die not. You want to go out with a boom and everyone sees it.
But like, you see, honestly, like they need them to know and find the body. Like that's it. But what if I'm, stuck in a, closet somewhere and like I'm there and they don't ever find.
Well, that was my fear, and that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Or what could have happened to me. So I was like, maybe 8 years old, and the apartment kind of complex projects I lived in, there were a bunch of empty buildings, empty apartments. So me and my friends at that age, we're playing just hide and go seek in empty buildings and apartments. And so I ended up in a closet, and I closed the door, and then thank God, luckily, one of my friends, he's like, oh, I hear you in there. And he came to open the door. And he's like, the door won't open. And so I'm just stuck in there. I'm like, you joking, right? And then he's like, I'll be back. And that's all I hear. And then next thing I know, because I think I must have passed out, I must have panicked, hyperventilated, and then passed out. Because the next thing I know, and it had to probably be 20 minutes later, right? Like finally my dad is like unscrewing the door hinges. And then I'm just waking up like, whoa. Like, I think that plays into like we all have claustrophobia, but that kind of excelled my idea of it, but goes back to how I'm now. Like, that scares me. Boom. Roll me up in a rug. Let's go. Like, I'm trying to do whatever. It's like, put me in the closet. I'm going to come out the closet.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of the closet.
Let's go.
Sometime soon.
Sometime soon.
All right.
I just thought about also.
That's the clip we isolated.
I just thought about my fear too.
Yeah.
Sea animals.
Valid.
Bro,
Valid. Because
so fucking scary.
I'm with you, bro.
Like,
we are in their habitat.
Exactly. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, if I
Let's
saw
talk about it.
If I saw a shark like on land or in the zoo, I'm not scared, right? Or like,
Yeah, punch that joint right in the gill.
Yeah, but if I'm like, Titanic sunk, I'm in the water, I see a shark, I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
You're
Or
in
like
your hood.
I see a giant squid.
Yeah.
You don't even know. Like sometimes even like some fish are scary, dude.
Dude, turtles. I was snorting. I know you look and think about it, but those big ass turtles in Hawaii, bro, those turtles are giant. And when you're swimming, you like see the school of fish. Like you're snorkeling. Oh, let me go up to the school of fish. This is all nice and pleasant. And all of a sudden, giant turtle comes out of nowhere trying to chomp the fish.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I screamed underwater. Ah! Screamed underwater, right? And the junk turned and looked at me.
Oh, he's like, I'm about to get you
They
next.
start swimming at me, and they bite.
Oh, is it a
bite.
snapping turtle or
No, they just have those beaks.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they're big turtles, bro.
Wow.
Like the size of this table.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm not expecting, just out of my peripheral, like, oh snap.
Yeah.
And
My friend got stung by a stingray. Yeah, we were surfing and he told us like
hold on, stingray. That's the
Stingray.
one with the barb.
barb.
Stingrays are the one that hit you with the barb. Are you talking about
Yeah.
like a jellyfish, like Portuguese
No, it
nanobar?
was-
Stingray with the barb, like the thing that killed Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So as soon as we got to the surfing lesson, right, he's like, by the way, there's like a bunch of stingrays, and they're baby stingrays. So he's like, he told us like you have to shuffle your feet when you're on the ground because if you step on them, they will like cut you and then like inject poison in you. So they don't really sting. It's just they're literally like injecting poison in you.
Like a scorpion.
Yeah. And so my friend, he started surfing and he got excited. So he's like stomping. He's running. He forgot to like shuffle his feet. And he's like, ouch. And we thought he was joking. And then he runs towards, and some people say you gotta like pee because you need to pour hot water on it. But luckily the lifeguard or the coach, he had like a huge bag of like hot water. and so he just put his foot in it, and it ruined him for like 3-4 days. Like he still felt like pain, but he was like that was one of the worst pains he ever had, and it was like a baby stingray.
We are not built to be in the ocean.
Yeah,
You know,
that's sad, bro.
dude. I even just playing like just out in the coral messing around. Like I've gotten sea urchin spikes in my foot. Like it's just you got to wear water shoes out there. There's just so much out there ready to mess you up, man.
Yeah.
Dude, one time I was in Hawaii. We're kind of on the shore. Sunset's coming down. We see a Hawaiian native guy that lives there. He's Hawaiian. He's swimming in, and what they do is he was snorkeling, spearfishing. So he's coming in, sun's coming down. He's bringing his catch in. So what they do is they have like an empty, like a milk carton or like a water jug, right? And that's where they put the fish, so they don't have to hold it. They put the fish in there and they swim in because that floats, and they kind of drag it in behind them.
Yeah.
So he's coming in. He's probably maybe like 25, 30 feet from shore. We're watching him swim in. We start seeing shark fin coming up behind him, right? So we all start screaming, hey, yo, there's a shark coming, shark. So luckily he hears us and he turns around. And so what happens when he turns around, the shark comes up, takes his catch. So what he had in that, the water jug, the fish he had in there, shark just took the whole thing.
Ooh.
Takes the
While he's swimming?
At this, this is while he's we're yelling shark.
Yeah.
He chomps the thing.
Oh.
He turns around. He hears us. He turns around. His catch is gone. So he has a spear gun. So he's now like swimming slowly backwards, just kind of, keeping guard. Mm-hmm. Gets up to shore. Shark's gone. Took his catch, right? This guy walks on the shore, straight Hawaiian dude. I'm talking about no shirt, jeans, shorts, and socks. Look, that's what he's wearing coming out of the ocean.
Bruh.
Jeans, shorts, and socks, bro.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's how they do, right?
Yeah.
And we were, we're all tripping. That was crazy. And this is how the Hawaiians are. He wasn't even phased.
Oh,
you know what he said?
God.
I thought I had dinner. That's literally all he said.
God.
And I'm like, you're a badass. And that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. I will not be swimming in anywhere now unless it's a cove that's blocked off from
That's
sharks.
hilarious.
Thank you very much. But I say that to say I'm with you, bro. Have you seen those deep sea animals?
Bro, yeah.
Like
and there's like
those-
new ones popping every year. Like, bro, they like
Yeah.
dropped a new animal. It's like, bro, that's...
Well, what's the deepest? The deepest place on Earth is the Mariana Trench, right?
I'm not sure.
My guy, yeah.
I don't even mess with it.
What is?
The Earth's core.
Yeah. The deepest point in the ocean is the
I've heard, like-
Marianas Trench in the Atlantic.
I've heard if you flip
Right.
the tallest skyscraper upside down, there's still like extra space down there. And I'm like, are you...
I'm sure.
That's insane.
Yeah. You want to hear something interesting? And you might have to, one of y'all have to Google this up just to make sure I'm not completely stupid. But this is crazy.
Oh,
I've
you're
heard.
stupid. No, I'm kidding.
I'm stupid, but I'm not completely
Yeah, okay,
stupid.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I'm partitioned.
Partial.
Yeah. So if you go to the highest point on Earth, which is Mount Everest, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go,
Or is it K2?
no.
Oh, K2 is the most steepest.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mount Everest,
Mount Everest
is still
is
the
the tallest.
highest.
Yeah.
And then Mariana Trench is the lowest, right?
Okay.
From the Mariana Trench to like Mount Everest, from Mount Everest down to the Mariana Trench, the distance is the same distance from like here to DC. It's like 8 miles. It's like 10 miles. So what that means is if you had a giant that came up to the earth, he came up to the earth,
Yeah.
this is how smooth the earth would feel to him. Because the tallest point to the lowest point, does anyone have that? How many miles?
About 5.5.
5.5 miles.
That's like huge.
No,
But-
you could. How long does it take you to run 5.5 miles?
I mean...
How long could it take you?
Okay, so my slowest would be like 15 minutes per mile. That's like slowest,
Oh my
right?
God.
That's slowest.
15 minutes.
No.
per mile?
Fast. My fastest was 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that means you could run from the top of Mount Everest to the bottom of the Marianas Trench in 1 hour. That's what I'm
Crazy.
trying to say.
That's
if
insane.
you went in a straight line.
Oh, you're talking about combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the top amount. No, that's more than that. That's almost 10 and a half, probably.
Okay. Give it 10.5 from here
Yeah.
to DC. My point is that
Hour and a half.
Yeah, my point is that like
Yeah.
the distance from the highest point to the lowest point in relative to the Earth's size is not really that much.
It's not that much, yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Dude, you know what's insane? My friends and I, we have a podcast, and one time this flat earther
You want
guy,
to plug it? What's the name?
it's called Strange Flavors.
Strange Flavors.
Yeah. We had a flat earther guy message us, and he came on the podcast.
Scrappy's a flat earther. He was on
Wait,
here
really?
last week. Yeah.
Is he actually? Okay. Wait,
We'll move on. Keep going.
is he actually? I need to know.
Dude, talk to Scrappy, but he believes in flat Earth. That kicked off a whole list
No.
of things I had to see if he believed in. He believes in everything except Bigfoot. It's perfect because that episode will come out after this one, actually. So it's perfect. Yeah.
Dude, I'm spoiling it.
Flat Earthers, go ahead. You had a flat Earther.
Oh,
on.
I was so sad.
Did he really believe it? Or
He
was
actually
Josh
believed.
and you guys?
He actually believed it.
His reasoning?
And I mean, like, this dude had like 80 PowerPoints. Like, so
Oh, we don't need to go into that.
yeah. So he had like many reasons. The main thing was, I feel like he was also a conspiracy like theorist, and he was anti-government. And so, but he was like, that's not the reason why. I'm like, I know the truth. And we're like, okay.
Right.
And then like, I'd bring up, these physics equations, and he was like, those are all made up, stuff like that. But it was sad knowing that like why, what's the purpose? Like, even if, let's say the earth was flat,
Okay. I like these. Just to let you know, I love hypothetical situations.
this is not going to go that deep, but it's like,
Oh, okay.
why care? Right? Like, okay, like
Why care if the Earth is flat? Because it changes the dynamics of everything we know about physics and our universe as we know it.
100% we question things, but it's like,
I'm just thinking like that was my
Yeah, yeah.
spitball answer to why I would.
yeah,
why I
yeah.
would care.
But you'd question things, but it's like,
I get what you're saying. The same
Over
about
time.
the soccer mom seeing the UFO.
yeah. It's like,
How much are you gonna affect
Okay.
you still got to pay.
they lied to us.
You
They-
still got to pay rent tomorrow.
I'm more surprised of how all these countries like lied to us together and like made us believe that the earth is round. Like if the earth was actually flat. I'm like, yo, they're pretty good at lying to us. Like that's insane.
well, we already know they're pretty good at lying to us.
They're also
but
pretty bad too.
They're pretty bad, but it goes back to that same thing we talked about, how this whole world is just a wooden roller coaster ready to ride
Yeah.
off the rails. So it's almost like
For me, I just can't believe that the government is this great at hiding. Like all these governments are this great at something. There's like Illuminati and whatever you think of, but I just feel like there's way too many people on this earth to like
I mean, to something of
To
that magnitude, yes.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at more like
Little things, yeah.
like GPS and those type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
but the
Weather
Earth is
creating,
definitely-
yeah.
I'm sorry, Scrappy. I'm sorry. The Earth is round. We had the discussion already. You'll hear it next week.
I've taken way too many exams and to know that the earth is not flat. Like, I've studied so much to
Well, for
like,
me, I even base off like we have satellites,
yeah.
and the satellites have orbital, paths around the Earth,
Yeah.
which are based around a spherical Earth. And to be honest, the Earth isn't actually spherical like this. It's oblong. You
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like stretched.
It's a little bit
slightly.
longer
Yeah.
from north to south.
north to
right?
south,
Yeah.
right? And because of the
I mean,
gravitational pulls.
I feel like that would be
whatever.
impossible to get a completely spherical ball. I don't know who would think that too, but
I mean, what's weird is it does look mostly spherical, like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
look at it from the moon, but like, yeah, the true shape.
you know what's crazy though is the moon's distance like covers the distance from the earth to the sun, like perfectly.
The moon's distance.
The moon's distance from the earth
Uh-huh.
when it crosses the sun
Uh-huh.
perfectly covers the sun.
Right. When we
like
get our eclipses.
the eclipses.
Yeah, yeah.
That is insane to me, bro. Like that's some like shit. Like
Oh, it's interesting you bring up eclipses because I love thinking about how natural phenomena affected ancient cultures with those type of things. So like eclipses, they'd be eclipse happening. We got to sacrifice Greg.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sorry,
Yeah,
Greg. But Greg's all. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'll do this for whatever Earth God and Wind God.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But we see all these anomalies in nature, like whether it's some crazy UFO or some crazy cloud structure or the northern lights, right? I love wondering and like fantasizing on how, and some of it is fantasy, and some of it there's a lot of accounts of what these native people and these tribal and ancient cultures thought of these different things that were happening, right? Whether it's looking at the stars, that's how you get Egypt, that's how you get the pyramids set up. Looking at Stonehenge, it's all based off constellations. If you look at even down to the cast, right? Nature and everything they saw was integrated into their lives and culture. So I love wondering, like now we have the benefit of knowing that the northern lights are the magnetic field glowing in the ozone layer, right? But when you didn't know what that was, what did your brain and culture and storytelling allow? Because I've never seen it. It's on my bucket list, and I want to go, but I hear seeing it in just person, it's almost like you're seeing CGI. You know what I mean? Like it's not real.
Yeah.
So what could these ancient people, like I said, there are records of things they believe, stories they've made up, but I more or less, I love almost like that innocence of wonder. Like you don't know the science behind it. And we have things for us that are that right now, which in 100 years will be the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know where it goes. You know, maybe by the time me and you are 70, 80 years old, our lives get prolonged.
Yeah.
If we could, what would you do? Would you keep living, or would you decide to go out with your mortality?
It depends on my kids and like my grandkids. I'll be like, I had this exact question. Like
everything you do is really based on the people you love.
yeah, because it's like, yo, if you're tired of me, like, yo, all right, I'll go. I'll peace out, y'all. Like, and
for me, it depends on my physical body. Like if I'm old and decrepit and I can't do all this shit, but if you could shoot me up with a shot and I got the body I have now at 80 years old, sign me up for another 300 years, brother. Like we're going immortal status.
You want to be immortal? What if everyone?
No, I don't want to. I'll take it back.
What if
I don't
everyone
want to be immortal? Just until I'm ready.
Okay.
Like it's like a button.
So you think like 300 years would be good for you? What if everyone
1,200 years?
1,200?
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's the number.
Damn.
That's my number. 1,200 years.
Okay, let's say, would you upload, let's say you're about to like pass, would you upload yourself into like the cloud?
No, because the only reason I would pass and the point of passing is to just see what's next. What's behind the veil.
I mean, you still will. So
What you mean?
technically, like you still pass, right? But everything, your conscious, all your thoughts are going to be in the cloud, but that's technically not you,
But I don't believe what?
right? Because you still pass.
Oh, it's an AI version.
It's
of
just
me.
the AI version.
It's
but
an
your
AI
family,
version of my consciousness.
yeah, like
for my family.
all your family and
It's
friends
just a puppet.
will hang out with it.
So you make a puppet. You're making a puppet.
So
of
would
me.
you do that?
Oh, I mean, if they want it, yeah. Because like you said, I'm
Yeah.
not here, right? So if y'all, but you have to make sure it's as cynical as I am.
It probably will be.
That you have to have it.
Able to tweak the code a little bit.
Yeah.
They got to be able to.
Make them nicer.
No.
Make all my art designs.
No, you're
Yo.
not allowed to alter my profile.
Let me
If you upload my consciousness to AI, I'm saying it now so it's on record. If you upload my consciousness to AI, you are not allowed to edit my profile at all.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
So you edit your profile.
This is already been.
No, I'm dead.
No, but you put in your will. Like I want
Oh.
No.
you to X out this stuff when you upload my thing.
No,
Like,
I want you
your
to exit.
consciousness.
I want you to no alteration to my code.
Okay.
The minute my code goes into the ether, there's no alteration. It is who I am. So you get a sense it is still
Yeah.
me. The minute you change it, it's not me anymore. Speaking of that and the code and all the metaverse and all that wild stuff, the world we're going into, what's the first crime you're going to do in the metaverse?
Crime.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's like lawyering or something simple. I was like, I'm gonna like lawyer.
Screenshot some JPEGs, you know? Yeah,
So you're gonna what?
Screenshot some JPEGs. No.
Is that a crime?
People think it is. I think it would be funny if like there was a bank of like NFTs in the metaverse,
And you're trying to.
and we just like try to rob the bank. Like
That'd be so lit.
that'd just be so funny.
That'd be so lit. Like your avatar. You like
Yeah,
go
you're
into-
like, yo, come on, and then like you're like, get down on the ground.
Yeah.
And then, but I feel like there's gonna be like, people are gonna take that shit seriously, and people are gonna have people already have jobs in the metaverse right now already. It's insane. So people are gonna be banked on.
Jobs. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by they have jobs?
So there will be like worlds, right? And
Dude, there'll be worlds.
there will be worlds. There's already worlds right now
Okay.
existing.
Okay.
And when you go into those worlds, there's like an AI, but it's a dude actually like using VR goggles,
Right.
and he's like telling them about the world and stuff like that. So
He's your concierge.
he's
to
their
the
concierge,
world.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's getting paid. He's like, yeah, this is my full-time job.
I see.
And there's already jobs like that. You know, there's going to be other jobs that become, you know, that are
I
going
see
to
what
come.
you're saying.
But,
I see what you're saying.
a
A lot of service based, like your
service based, and
yeah.
people are gonna want things, and there's gonna be currency, so it makes sense. It just depends when and how that's gonna happen, and then some people are gonna just telework in the metaverse. So people are gonna design those places. People are gonna design like how the computer and the code and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a bunch of jobs dealing.
So
with
you
that.
could like design your own house if you wanted to.
Yeah, and you
Like,
could
what
pay.
would you have? Like
could
some, what you got, a shack or you got a mansion? You living on the farm? Where you at? What's your metaverse house look like?
See, I feel like the weather really. The weather really affects me if I choose a location. So I'm like, bro, like, do I need a giant?
But can't you
mansion?
program the weather?
No, unless you have like some futuristic shit, right? Like you just have VR goggles.
But if it's I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're building on the real estate in the metaverse, but you can't necessarily program the weather.
Yeah, so like you're just like looking at shit. So I mean, yeah, like a nice view, and you know, somewhere maybe Hawaii. I don't know. I've never been. So
We actually love Hawaii. We we love. Let's like if we could move there tomorrow. Like
It's on my like.
every few months.
I'm gonna move to Hawaii.
Every
Oh,
few
damn.
months, he's looking at short-term stays. So like, yeah, I'm remote right now. Maybe I can go 6 months and live in
I don't
Hawaii.
mean move there permanently. I mean just at least go live
Yeah.
there for a extended period of time.
why is that?
The island mana, bro. It's something about
I heard
it.
like the locals don't like tourists. Is that true or?
They don't like howlies.
Okay.
Howley is the term that's referred to. Can we talk about? We can talk about howlies. We talk about howlies, right?
South Park. So.
Yeah, we talk about howlies.
They're nice to your face. Who knows what they are, like what they.
No, if you have some melanin on your skin, you're all right.
You're good. Okay.
But even like my brother Brandon right here, right, of a fairer complexion, his vibe is enough to get him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're big on the mana, they're big on the energy.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a lot of built-in perceptions, but that's off of colonization and different things that island went through, right?
Yeah.
But the people over there, bro, it's just like you're in America, but you're separated from the mainland.
I heard that's how Puerto Rico's kind of like.
I've never been. Yeah, I want.
I've never been either.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. The thing with Puerto Rico is I've never been, but I definitely get a sense of, you know, that what Hispanic, you know, type of that culture there. The thing about Hawaii, which is interesting, is like somewhere in America where you get this super like Pacific Polynesian Tonga, you know what I mean? Like that whole corridor, like you're like, oh, I'm in America. There's a 7-Eleven right there. And like, there's 7-Elevens everywhere. I take it
Yeah,
back. But you get my point. That's like,
It's familiarity.
it's familiar.
Like when you go into a different country and you see a McDonald's, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
like, you know, you feel familiar. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Like,
in that aspect, you're still, with I guess Puerto Rico is still in the States now. They consider it, it's a territory, right? But something about, maybe it's any island you go, man, because it's like something about being away from the mainland and just being out there where it's like, hey, like here's a point on this east coast of this island, but if I drive that way, there's gonna be a point where I have to stop because I hit the other end. Like Oahu, the island, for instance, you can get to the top to the bottom in probably like an hour and a half.
oh, damn.
You know what I mean? And like, I just love it, bro. I have a lot of friends that have become family out there, and it's just like,
That's awesome.
we love going and just, I get a moped, I ride to several different beaches, I hang out to each one for a little bit, and that's my day. And nothing else satisfies me more. Don't get me wrong, if you're there for like a week and a half, like our East Coast brains are gonna be like, I need to get back. Like you heard the term island fever. So like you do feel like, okay, this is great, but like I need to get back. You feel some type of disassociation. It's interesting because I've even seen it in the kids, right? Because I've been going there for some time. So like, say before Instagram really popped off and everything, I saw the culture change within like the youth there from like not really being influenced by mainland stuff to now mainland culture and music and all that stuff is super integrated into their youth culture.
We're being globalized. I think it's called
Yeah.
globalization or something like that. Everyone's kind of through social media. We're all becoming kind of like similar. We all seeing the same kind of stuff.
But that's only if you have the internet, right? So like
yeah.
it's only in the countries
still-
where you can see it because like there's countries that are blocked. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bring it up because we're gonna get back. Skip that. Okay. Yeah, because that'll just if I say that one word, it'll get this YouTube. China. Exactly. No, but speaking about China, something good about them that I hear, right, is like their TikTok videos. You're popping on TikTok, right? So do you know that like, and tell me if this is true or even if you heard anything about this, because I can't 100% corroborate this, but do they like their TikTok videos are all like STEM, like science, math, and like all these like projects, and they're like, it's not what like we do necessarily in the Western culture. Is that true?
Yeah, I think. Well, China's like media; they control a lot of the media, and people aren't necessarily like they don't dislike it. I'm sure the youth might. They're like, hey, we want to watch cartoons that are fun and stuff like that. But yeah, they definitely control, and they have like a kind of different TikTok. So I think it is all STEM based.
I'm so scared of having this conversation right now. It's nothing serious.
Differentiate the CCP from the people. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
from the people.
Differentiate the CCC, the CDC,
CDC.
the CCC, the CPC, CCP.
This is government from the people.
Separation of government and state and versus people.
There
and
you
all
go.
that good stuff.
There you go. Now,
That didn't clear that. All right. Yeah, but the point we're trying to get at is just this World Wide Web, right? And the continuation of what it's formed into now and where we're at and where it goes to.
yeah.
Same thing as animals. It's its own animal.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful and it's terrifying. It's
100%.
interesting and it's gruesome,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And we have to find out where we fit in without letting it make you kill yourself.
Yeah. And it's affected a lot of people. Like young people compare themselves a lot more now. And
Well, I'm even old, bro. Like everyone got. My mom is on Facebook. When my mom first got on Facebook,
yeah.
I was a little terrified. And next thing I know, she's getting more likes than me. She's like knowing how to use it. She's like dropping gifts under my comments. And I'm
Dang.
like, somehow she's picking it up. So it's just like, it's one of those things, man. It's scary. It's beautiful. And I don't know where this computer science and this AI is going to go. I just want to live for 1,200 years so I can, in 1,100 years, tell somebody about Two Girls, One Cup.
Hey, let's go.
And then we're going to relive all that. You know what's interesting about like all this is like I bring that up, for example, right? Like to where we were going to be in the future, even what we do now, like how does that get looked at as future generations? Like, I feel like if there's any type of comparison to how we look at past generations, it's usually this consensus, right? This like the majority of people at that time were complete idiots, and the way they were living, they were putting leeches on themselves. What, they had wooden teeth? What, they were doing this? We look at them like they're completely nuts, right? And then we always carve out like a little space for like, that guy was a thinker. And this guy was thinking this when no one was thinking this, and he ended up being right? So like you always have like that minority that is outcasted or treated as they're psycho or whatever the case may be, right? Just different.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to how much of what's happening now to every aspect when it comes to the pandemic, when it comes to content, when it comes to woke culture, when it comes to everything, like how does 50 years look at even in 50 years look at us, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's either one or two ways. It's like idiocracy, where we're like completely go the other way, and we're like, oh, what is it like? Upgrade, everything's upgrade.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
ever see Idiocracy?
No.
Oh my god, great movie. I gotta pause to tell you, Idiocracy is a movie that was. The idea is that a guy from modern time goes to the future, and everything is advanced technological wise, but everyone is stupid.
Oh,
Like,
that's funny.
Stupid.
That's a funny
Terry
concept.
Crews is the president.
Oh, wow.
Terry Crews plays the president.
Yeah.
And it's eerie how spot on it is.
That's funny.
And I guess that's what I'm getting at. That's a good reason I brought that up.
Oh, okay.
The
I see what you're saying.
eeriness. The eeriness of it all. The eeriness that Comedy Central did the roast of Donald Trump and Snoop Dogg was there and everyone was making fun of him for wanting to be president. You see what I'm saying? Like the eeriness of the absurdity of what we think we're now and how much we know. And when we get to in 4 years, and like that happens culturally, that happens scientifically, that happens even personally introspective with us. We look at who we were 4 years ago and it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's what I wonder, like, how stupid are they going to think we are?
I think what's it called? Going into the future, I sort of believe that we're not like stupider, but we don't need to think as much. We think differently. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we're building upon, past generations and whatnot. And so like when you're building let's say you're like coding, right? Most people that code, they don't know how to like make a computer from scratch, right? That was like the past generation, right? Now we're like building upon. So does that make us dumber? I don't know. Like the fact that we don't know how to build a computer, but it's going to be different. So I feel like the future generations are going to be used to like more absurdity. Like, oh, it's Donald Trump's like fourth time.
We got the phone. He's good. Figaro making his appearance. No, but I feel you. Are they going to think, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying.
It's like, I mean, they were smart, but, have you ever seen the movie Wall-E?
No.
So
I know what you're talking about. It's the robotic CGI Disney creature.
Yeah.
And give me the premise.
I mean, the premise is, I don't remember the whole premise, but I know like when he finds the humans, right? He's just like a robot. He's collecting trash, whatnot. He finds like humans in a ship, right? And he goes in, and everyone's just like in a chair, and they're like super like they're unhealthy and everything. They just get fed like TV, and they can do whatever. No one's working because they're like self-sustaining and whatnot. So basically they're just like on their computers and whatnot, and they don't have to do any physical activity. Because
It's like that movie Surrogate with Kevin Costner. Is that Kevin Costner? God damn it! I always get Kevin Costner and Bruce
No,
Willis.
not Kevin Costner. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I always mix them up.
Yeah, it's like
I don't
that.
know
It's like
why.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It also has similar idiocracy because the part of the concept was humans left Earth because they filled it with trash.
Yeah.
Wally's task was to
Collect
everyone's
clay trash. Yeah.
Everything, all these futuristic theories are all built on man's deviancy or like the trash. You know what I'm saying? It's like we like to think of this future generation of like an exponential version of ours. So like you have the super rich who are up in the sky towers, and then you still have the poor in District 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for some reason, we can't get rid of the classism aspect of it all.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, when does that ever leave humanity? And when it finally does is when we become genderless, and then we slowly form into the gray aliens. I think it's time. Do you believe in aliens?
I think I do. Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do kind of believe in ghosts.
Okay. Do you believe in the ghost of alien?
Ghost of an alien? Like an alien dies and it's a ghost? Is that what you're asking?
The ghost of alien.
Ghost. I don't know what that means. Like after an alien dies or something, like a ghost comes out?
Yeah, like a ghost. Like you believe in aliens.
Yeah.
You believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghost of an alien.
It depends on the alien, bro. Like, what if alien doesn't die?
I love that answer.
What if the alien doesn't die? What if the alien's like, forever living? So
Are you brushed up on your alien species? Like you?
No.
Oh, because the way you were saying it was like, oh, it depends what species it is. Is it a reptilian? Is it?
The thing is, I feel like aliens. Our depiction of aliens is humans put on an alien. Our concept, if we ever come up to an alien, it's not going to be like anything we've ever thought of or seen of, and we won't be able to explain it fully ever.
I like that.
And so yeah, our only concept is our human projection onto aliens. Like, are they gonna, populate our Earth and take our resources? No, that's something humans would do.
I get what you're saying because they liken it to like say when Columbus.
Yeah.
Like oh, it didn't end so good for the Native Americans when Columbus came. So when aliens come, it's probably not going to end good. Like I think you're just right. Like there's no way for our brains to even wrap our heads around the comprehension of what that would look like. And maybe there's complete extremes. Maybe there's a giant alien race that loves people and they're helping us, and at the same time, there's one that's trying to eat us.
Yeah. Do you believe in like infinite dimensions?
Yeah. So I've been diving infinite dimensions. I think that's part of like the multiverse theory.
Or infinite universes?
Yeah, like the multiverse theory where you can have infinite iterations of me and you having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something to explore just because like if you think about string theory or like those different things, like it awakens those ideas of there are these different possibilities, and I think the best like evidence for that in today's culture is like quantum physics, right?
Yeah.
So like where they're finding stuff at that small level where is probably where this type of things happen, right? Because the majority of everything is space. Like if you look at an atom, the majority of it is just empty space. So it's interesting to think about those things. Something interesting about the multiverse I've been thinking about is like, well, not the multiverse, but dimensions, right? Because like I don't even understand the full difference or what is the difference or like how they fit. But like when people talk about dimensions in the universe, or multiverse, are those two different things?
It's a little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Help me understand the difference.
So what we can conceptualize our dimension, right, is sort of what we can like see. Like we can see up to 3 or 4
Keyword
dimensions.
perception.
Perception, yeah. So like, a dot is 1 dimension, a line is 2 dimensions, box is 3 dimensions. And we can use math to calculate like higher dimensions by doing integrations and derivatives and all that stuff. But we can conceptually like think about it, but we don't know what it looks like because it's just
the math doesn't add up. The math
adds up. It adds up.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, the math ends up reflecting something that is not in Newton's laws of physics. Like what they find, the results they find, like when they're doing these quantum tests and all that type of stuff, it ends up showing like, yeah, this is something there, but that doesn't reflect what we think is real in our space. And that's where like the disconnect is, right? And it's like, how can something be moving and still at the same time? All these things they talk about like in quantum mechanics. And I think that's where like the magic of these other realms are. So you're saying
just the way I think of universes, I think of like, okay, we're in this universe, solar system, all that stuff. There's probably another one where like you have green hair or something like that, and just infinite possibilities.
So is it almost safe to say that the universal aspect is external and then the dimensional aspect is internal?
I don't have a definitive answer for that.
I mean, just like opinion.
That's how
all of this is going to be.
That's what makes sense to me. Sort of. I don't know what you guys think.
No, it does make sense, and the reason is because I was reading on astral projection, and like there was a theory like how the most people when they do astral projection they say I'm over my body. I'm looking down at my body and I see the space in that area, right? So the idea is what if you're just entering the 5th dimension when you're doing that? So that's why it was interesting.
What's crazy if you believe in like infinite universes and if you like change something, there's another universe that like does something else.
Right.
If you believe in infinite universes, technically, when you're sleeping, you're dreaming.
Right.
That's something that's happening in a different universe.
I believe that.
You think that?
Dude, we go deep on dreams
crazy.
and we talk a lot about that.
It makes sense. If you believe in infinite universes, that is something that is happening in a different universe.
Different universe and dimension maybe. like maybe obviously we don't. It's not a rigid explanation of both, but
Yeah.
that realm, right?
Yeah.
Like I believe, like when people come visit me that are not here, like I believe that when they're coming into our dimension, you know what I mean? Like it's a here's the best way for me to explain it. People think of time and space and everything as whether it's linear, circular, 3D, whatever the case is. I like to think about everything as water, to where it's flowing together. There's no line. There's no sense. It's all, everything moves with the movement of
Yeah.
the emotions and everything,
Yeah.
whatever.
But
life-
sometimes we need those lines to kind of think about it or like understand it a little bit.
yeah, we need those lines like with our human brains
Yeah, with
to
our
be
human
able
brains.
to like
to be like, okay, this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think that's what math does. Cause like I remember doing like calculus and we were like integrating like the fourth dimension. Like you know, you're finding a volume of a ball and then you go up one dimension. You don't know what it looks like, but you're still doing the math for it. And it checks out. And you're like, dude, I just calculated the volume of like a fourth dimension tetrahedron or whatever. And you're
Dude,
like,
Jet Li,
that's insane.
the one. You've seen it, right? You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
a long time ago, but
Yeah, but the idea is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's the version of you going into different universes to kill the other versions of
Yeah.
you in order to make this version of you stronger. Would you do it?
to make my version stronger.
You would have, yeah, like who you are now.
Yeah.
You would have to go to another universe, kill the other Shimmer from that universe in order to make this Shimmer stronger. How would you feel about it, and how would that go?
If I had to do it, like if my other shimmers are like evil and they're like, dude, you have to like kill these guys.
Okay, let's go with that.
Then I'll be like,
evil Shimmer.
Let's go
Yeah.
for it. I watched. I don't know if you watched Rick and Morty.
Here and there.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there's like an episode. Rick basically he has to like he has like a whole planet, universe. It's just all him. And he has to like fight himself like multiple times.
wow.
And I was like, yo, that's so badass. Like I would love to do that.
So they pretty much copied the one.
I guess, yeah. I mean, they copy so many shows, like like Family Guy.
They
and-
pulled from.
They pull.
Well, it's Back to the Future, anyways.
Yeah. So like
yeah.
every episode's like
Right.
Rip
It's
parodying.
based from pop culture.
Yeah, it's parodying pop culture. So, essentially, like, yeah, I feel like that would be cool.
That would be cool to kill.
It would be cool. Like,
Right.
am I better than you?
I guess I'll
Like,
right.
because-
I guess I was looking for more details on like
How would I do it?
like yeah, because you have to kill him.
yeah, dude.
So you're face to face with your, like, do you take it out easy? Do you just one
no,
shot
hard battle on
two
top
to
of
the
Mount
chest,
Everest.
one to the head?
No, I
Oh, okay.
we'd
wanna earn it.
We do multiple
Face
tests
to face,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looking in his eyes as the last breath is leaving his
Yeah,
mouth.
I mean, this is probably deep, but low key, like I feel like I'm fighting myself every day, like, right now. Like, bro, like I gotta
Bro,
what?
that's just so deep. That's just how introspective you got right there. Just how introspective you got right there.
I mean, everyone is.
amazing.
Everyone is. It's
You're
not
fighting
like
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone is fighting them. Like, yo, I want to eat chips instead of I want to eat, like
yeah,
a nice breakfast burrito or something like that. It's like, no, I gotta fight myself to not eat that. Or we have bad addictions all the time. Like, yo, it's do you give in or do you lose? Do you win? Or
And that's almost like the scenario we just highlighted is essentially like almost what we're doing in our like what you explained, like our brains are like in this world, in this life that we're in right now. Like
yeah,
if you keep doing that, it is almost like you make yourself stronger,
yeah,
right? Like in your mind, if you killed off all the weaker versions of you,
that's essentially what you're doing. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah,
that's wild.
that is wild.
Damn.
Killing the weaker versions of yourself.
Killing the weaker version of yourself.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
it is.
Jet Li, the one.
Little one.
I feel like that's a beautiful way to end this.
It is.
Until you come on next time.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me, dude.
Dude.
I appreciate it. It was a great conversation. We literally
Amazing.
talked about like everything.
We can't even. There's so much more.
Yeah, there's so
until
much
next
more.
time.
Yeah, let me know. I'd be down.
Appreciate it, bro.
That's what I like about podcasts is it gives you a space to like talk about things for content. And
Yes.
I always enjoy talking to other creatives and like, having an outlet to like, push it out. And it's cool.
Amazing, bro. I appreciate you coming, man.
Appreciate you.
Till next
having
time.
me. Yep. Till next time.
We're out.
You want to plug anything? Like your IG, Twitch?
Most places I'm Shimmer Wali and yeah, watch the other episodes. Watch Scrappy talk about flat Earth next episode. I'm excited to see that. I'm sad by that news, but yeah. And enjoy all these guys behind the scenes. You know, they're holding in and carrying this thing too. So yeah, that's it.